Howdy do. Now for this video, we're going to be doing something a little bit different. And by different, I mean, it's going to be more like a podcast. I just feel like playing something in the background while I'm talking to you guys. So even though there is going to be a video on the screen, you can listen to this in another tab and continue doing whatever it is that you're doing at the moment. But if you're bored and you have nothing to do and you want to also watch, there's also going to be gameplay. Specifically, we're going to be playing Sonic Adventure. Apparently my data got deleted. I have all my achievements still, but my data got deleted, so perfect time. I'll do a proper Let's Play of this game when I do like my Sonic Marathon, probably sometime next year though too, in case you're like actually curious about Sonic Adventure. But that being said, this is just I'm gonna talk about a couple things. We'll get that started too. But one of the main things I'm gonna be talking about first and foremost is, wow, this game is kind of loud even on my end. THANKMAS. Before we get into anything else proper, if you're newer from the THANKMAS video I did, that kind of popped off a little bit, unfortunately. And I only say unfortunately because it wasn't supposed to be that successful, but it was. And on one hand, I'm happy because it's for charity. I don't mind that because it's for charity. At the same time, if it was a little confusing for some people, basically whenever Jack makes his video, I make my video, and I tend to name my video the exact same thing he named his video, and just kind of like make the thumbnail half his and then make one half for my own. And it's all for, you know, THANKMAS. So that's what that was about. I saw some people comment about that. Some people thought it was kind of funny. So that's appreciated. But it was mainly for that cause, in case you're like, oh, like, so what's going on? Because it seems like he did something to you. And it's like, yeah, he kind of did. He kind of made a charity event that I can participate in. So it's my experience. This is our individual campaign, as we have it up above. Graphics already like donated $10, so we're already on our way. It's going to be fun, and it's going to be great, and it's for charity. It's fantastic. It lasts through the end of New Year, and you can make your own campaign if charity is something that you've always wanted to do, even if you're not a YouTuber, streamer, etc. Like I said, the volume's going to be overall quite low, so it's just it's really there for background stuff while we go through this. And I also remember the controls, and I get the mouse out the way, so it's just not there the whole time like it always is, because this game's all keyboard. But one of the things I'm making this video for, one of the things I want to talk about is kind of like how I go about making videos. There he is. I know if I say this is just something you can watch in the background and then I commentate on what's going on, that makes it a little confusing, huh? No, it's not. That's happening. That's a lot of police. And how do they drive like that? I don't know. But I want to talk about making videos specifically because I want to talk about like my process, like what goes into when I make a video. How I go about editing each individual series, because like, for example, there's like the Let's Plays, the single Let's Plays and stuff like that. I edit those differently than I edit, say, the videos with friends. So like Gary's Mod and Final Fantasy 14 at this point and VR Chat. They all have different, I don't want to say metrics because they're not like hard lines that I want to absolutely hit, but kind of a little bit. They all are a little bit different from each other. And maybe talking about like my thought process of how I go into it might help others if they want to make their own videos, right? Like Mitchie already is a YouTuber, so he already has his own ideas, but sometimes it's still nice to trade ideas. Sometimes when I talk with Nags, that's what we talk about too. It's like thumbnails and videos, stuff like that. And then Lote recently, you know, Lote's starting to make more stuff across platforms, and putting this in a video form might be kind of fun. Thank you, Sonic. It could be fun. Ah, yes. Chaos 0. And we're somehow even shorter. I kind of forgot how to play this. This might be a massacre while I talk about stuff. So I think I'll just go through like each video series one by one. Psych. Which one should I start with? I think I'll start with Let's Plays, single player stuff. I don't think any of you are interested in doing single players. Oi! Oi! Comment down. Talking to the audience. Freaking Beyblade. I haven't seen that in a while. I think with single play games, the one thing that's the fun part about that is, I would say if you were ever going to do like a single player Let's Play kind of situation, start with a game you know. Start with the game you know specifically, because then you can focus on things like commentary. Commentary around things that you know. Things that you know things that you know you can maybe even craft jokes for and stuff like that. And some people might say that's fake. First of all, they're wrong. But second of all, it's about practice, right? The first one out the gates, unless it's like you are on top of a giant, you know, new game that came out and yours is like the first Let's Play everybody on YouTube for some reason is seeing, most likely you get to experience this nice thing where you get to put out these videos and not worry about the pressures of like a lot of random people coming in out of nowhere and seeing it. I'm not saying you can't get there eventually. I'm not saying there aren't strategies to even help out with that. But what I am saying is it can be nicer than have that practice of like, how would I structure stuff? How would I, you know, what kind of edits do I want to do? Do I want to edit at all? Do I just want to cut out dead space and the game kind of, you know, speaks for itself? And then because the commentary is good enough, I don't really need to put too much else into a video. That happens sometimes. And it's just good to work with something you already know, because then there's, for example, oh, I know when to, you know, cut an episode off. I know when to keep an episode going. I know what I might want to put in an episode ahead of time already, so I can structure around that even. And that can be kind of nice. Oh no, Tails, buddy. Listen, I'm no expert pilot, and there's a lot of evidence. I don't think your plane should be smoking whenever you're flying. I just feel like that's usually a red flag. It's pretty bad. It's like trying to play GTA and you have the armor all the way up on a plane, and then you get clipped on your wing and suddenly your engine's on fire. It's horrible. Ah yes, graphics. I just almost ran that lady over. How do I? Thank you. Plane crash over at the beach. Yeah, it sure did. Hope the pilot's okay. Nah, he's dead. That's the thing about single player games, I guess. When it comes to the multiplayer games, so games with people, one of the things that I like, and I always say this to y'all, is it's a lot of fun because you get to bounce off of people. So even if I was like insanely entertaining on my own, then it's just going to be that much better, because then the people that I play games with are also entertaining, and then we can just bounce. We don't have to solo carry a situation like you do a single player game. The single player game, you got to carry it all by yourself. And it's entirely possible. People do it all the time. But I'm saying, like, that's one of the nice things about if you're someone that, you know, you don't think you're the most funny person. You don't necessarily have to be when you're playing with other people. Heck, I mean, like, look, so people that are mute, for example. Oi! That's just mean. I'm trying to talk to the audience. I was gonna say, people that are mute, for example, some of them feel like a rock is funnier than them. Okay, they're also wrong, and their opinion is invalid. I don't respect that opinion. There, I said it. Villain mode. But at the same time, like, one of the things about VR chat that's nice about that is expressions, right? There's plenty of ones we've known, you've seen the channel, you've seen the VR chat videos, some of them watching right now. You might not speak, but you're very expressive, and that expressiveness can be funny all by itself. I don't want to compare it to like a mime necessarily, but think about that, right? Like, mimes don't speak, but they can be very entertaining without speaking. And I think that's part of it. You don't have to speak to be entertaining. That's not like a hard line. Can it make things easier? Possibly. Because verbal jokes and stuff. Yeah, absolutely. But I don't think it's like a requisite, if you will. Let's use a 3-syllable word. To being funny. I think some of the funniest moments that have come in the group isn't necessarily because it was a spoken joke. It could just be an inside joke. It could be things like freaking Porcane. That was just silly. Porcane was silly, and that's my point. So I do think being funny is not out of the range of people just because they don't speak for whatever reasons that they don't speak. I'm not here to judge that either. Is this the whale? This is the whale. This is the whale. I've never eaten whale before. I don't think I want to eat whale before. Or after. But yeah, here we go. Run. Run. That's literally your namesake. Actually, no, we're fine. We're gonna make it. I can go back to commentating. We're surely not gonna die. There we go. But yeah, so in that regards, I think the door is open for any of y'all, really, if you want to do stuff. But I'm not saying this because I think you should necessarily. Like, if you don't want to, you don't want to. But I don't think it's because you can't. And I know I've made this point several dozen times before, but I'm gonna make it again, because why not? However, when it comes to, say, editing a video when you have other people, that could make it easier too if you're someone who's ever kind of wanted to. And I'm not even saying like do YouTube like consistently. Maybe there's an event coming up, right? Whether you're mute or you're not mute, right? Let's say there's an event coming up and you want to just have one video for it from your own point of view because the event's going to be fun or it's something important to you, something like that, right? That's part of what makes playing with other people a lot of fun too, because sometimes if there's a moment that happens and you didn't have a joke or something, or you felt like you weren't being engaging enough, maybe with the audience or whatever, maybe someone else was, and then you either start bouncing off of them or they carry the whole moment and you don't have to. There's been plenty of times like that, especially in TTT, right? Where it's like, I might have been dead. And one of the funniest moments that happened was from someone who was alive. It wasn't even from me, but I was recording, so I had, you know, it was in a point of view, perhaps. We can go down the list, you know, let's see, Mitchie, Take a Step Back, Z with Witness Me. There's a lot, actually, I could go over. There's actually a lot I can go over. That's what happens when we've almost done 100, you know, Gary's Mod videos. Mainly TTT, but there's been some others in there too, as a matter of fact. Like the dodgeball one, I forget the name of it. And that's where I'm kind of going with this. So if it's something you want to do, I think it's possible, and you might just have to think about it doing it a little differently. But if it's with other people, I'm saying lean on those people then. If you don't think you can solo it for whatever reason, lean on those people. That's how that works. I said I'd go game specific, but I guess we're still doing kind of general knowledge right now. Because that's one of the things that's kind of nice about when I go to even like titles and thumbnails, right? There might be 10 minutes worth of funny stuff, and then I base it off of a single specific moment that happens. And so, for one, it doesn't crowd the thumbnail as much as it used to if I just stick with like 1 or 2 characters, maybe 3, versus trying to put like 27 characters in a thumbnail. But also, what can be neat about that process is it also gets people to stick around and watch. Like, why is this the thing and the title and the thumbnail? Oh, it turns out it's because it happens to do with this moment that happens like 5 minutes into the video. So it's not clickbait, because it does happen. It just happens not at the beginning of the video, because why would I put that at the beginning of the video and so people can then just leave the video afterwards?
That was a test run using a new prototype propulsion system.
But I guess we'll go specific game by game, and we'll start with GTA, because GTA kind of is on its way out, at least GTA 5, so GTA Online. GTA Online 5, I should say, because probably GTA 6 will have a GTA Online of its own, and then it'll come back. GTA 5, I guess I gotta start with where GTA 5 even started, right? It's like, that's a Chaos Emerald. It's like, on one hand, I'm doing this, it's supposed to be like a podcast talk thing. On the other hand, I'm kind of also paying attention to the story because it's been a minute. With that specific game, it was interesting because it started off, I was in mechanics. So with Steam, Odaman, Melody, and people. We were in Steam server just chilling. And then all of a sudden, Odaman and Steam were like, we want to do like a heist. And so what we did is the very first video really that had anyone ever in it was Steam. It was me and Steam driving around Los Santos. I told him the story about how I met DMX in Maui once, which is a wild story, by the way. I'm not going to go into it right now. There's the camera button. See, people complain about the camera in these older games, and I'm like, how? I'm going to be honest, I don't understand it. It's just, ta-da, camera controls. The game has camera. Back on the GameCube, you use the C-stick. Why are you drowning, ma'am? I feel great. You feel like you're about to suffocate. But alright. And that's basically what the majority of that video was, and then Melody got on, and we tried to hijack jets off of the military base to, varied success, I would say. And then Odaman was originally going to join us that night, but couldn't, so then we came back the next day, and we ran through the Humane Labs raid, as you might remember. It was like a 4 or 5 part video series, so it was like Monday through Friday I chopped the recording up. And here's how my thought process was for when I was making that series, was basically, I want to get as much in as possible. To the point, I was very bad at cutting out dead space back then. I thought for some reason that was, like, too many jump cuts would be bad, and then if I cut out too much, it seems like fake for some reason, but it's literally dead space. And by dead space, I don't mean the game, I'm talking about, like, nothing is happening. Literally nothing is happening. You don't have to leave that in there, especially once you go into things like watch time and stuff. That really doesn't have to be something you include in videos. It's a nice way to make videos shorter. Like, some of y'all remember, some of my videos used to be long, like 47 minutes and stuff like that, and it used to be because of stuff like that. Or in one case, and I'll get to VR chat more proper later, but VR chat used to be long because if we world hopped for 4 hours, I would chop the whole 4 hours down into one video instead of like break it up into multiple videos, like it's what I kind of should have did, and it's what I've started doing for a long while now. It's like, you know, maybe I will just make this 2 or 3 videos instead of making it one massive video. New Year's is kind of like the exception, where I'm like, okay, well, it's New Year's though, so maybe I'll make it one long video. But even last year I didn't do that. I broke New Year's into 3 different videos, and it was actually a lot better of an idea because the one thing about breaking a video up like that is because for me, I don't really want to make like an hour-long video of something like that. So by breaking it up into smaller videos, it actually have to have more of each segment in them, instead of trying to trim it down so much that there was actually just not a lot of a specific thing happening, but there was instead just a lot of some of everything happening, if that makes sense. Oh, it's the police. Excuse me while I jump over your cars, which cannot stop me, but invisible walls sure can. Well, I can't go in there, alright. Can I go? Twinkle Park's gotta be closed still, right, for repairs? Yeah, it's not renovated yet. Oh well, time to go in the sewers. No way we can drown in this. But, yeah, so when looking at a game like GTA, I would, especially, what I might do in the future is I might, because I still have the source files for that very first Humane Labs raid with those 3, is I might re-edit a new version of them, just to show the difference, I guess, of what I'm saying. Those videos are fine, don't get me wrong, there's a lot of funny stuff that happened, and they were fun to do with those guys. But if I was editing that today, those videos would be a lot different, is what I'm also saying. And that's something that's nice that you kind of learn as you're editing videos. And I know I'm supposed to be talking about specific stuff, and I'm really not. It's kind of like this video. What I just decided just now is when a cutscene is happening and there's like talking over me and stuff, I'm just gonna not talk and start talking again when the cutscene's over, so that way it's a lot easier to hear me and or the game. Take me away, train. Trains are cool. Can I go to Knuckles yet? No. No. Man, Knuckles is like the only reason I'm really playing this game, let's be real. Can I go here yet? No. They want to make it so you can't not find Tails' workshop. I got you. I got you. All right, cool. It's right up these stairs, by the way. Ta-da.
If it isn't Sonic.
Yeah. And now I just changed my mind again because the cutscene's not that distracting. And it's also background. I could just do like this. I'm gonna be tall. I'm gonna be louder than you, Eggman. I said this wasn't going to be a Let's Play, but if I'm reacting to everything, it's kind of like a low-key like a Let's Play. But also, this video is not going to be like the entire game. The entire game would take like several hours to get through, and this isn't going to be that long. Ah, that looks menacing. What is it? I don't know if I should be afraid of it, because I don't understand what that is. What is it? You gonna tell me? It's the egg. Egg Hornet. Alright, there we go. So yeah. So I guess, starting with GTA though, one of the things I learned to do is, it was one of the first series with friends, so they used to be long videos, and then I would start chopping things down. And what I would kind of do is, if I thought there was a long, you know, recording session with multiple great things that happened, but combining them all into one video would just be long, I would just make multiple videos. And that's something I've learned to do with a lot of series, as we're going to go over. But with GTA, I guess one of the things I stick with is, one thing people like is when I get killed. So even in the last Mercenaries, you know, DLC, there's a lot of me getting killed for the beginning part, because that's something people liked. And then it's like, okay, when I'm going through the Mercenaries, it wasn't like the greatest DLC, let's be honest, so it kind of made my job a little easier on that one. But it's like, okay, what are like the highlight moments of it? Maybe we put a little bit of the cutscene in it. We don't want to put too much cutscene in it unless we're commentating, but usually when we're playing with friends, I'm not commentating stuff like I am when I'm doing single player stuff, right? It's like in the Final Fantasy videos, which we'll get to those too, right? There's plenty of time I'm reading stuff, but it's not in the video because like we're all kind of having conversations. So there's no point leaving that in, especially when it's just gonna be random bits of conversation. When I'm also not reading it out loud either, so it's not like a visual novel kind of a situation either. So it's like, okay, unless we're all react, because like some of them will have the same cutscene going at the same time, and we might all react to it together. Cool. Otherwise, maybe it doesn't need to stay in the video. Like we all know it. So it's fine. And then what I'll instead happen is I have like bits and highlights from each mission that we did. Like that was the thing about that video, the Mercenaries one, which was like the last GTA video so far on the channel, because it's just really not been anything else to do when it comes to GTA Online. Some people have even uninstalled the game. They might reinstall it if there's this Michael DLC next month, but otherwise like 6 is coming out. It's just time to get ready for 6. Like they've confirmed it. Rockstar's confirmed it. They confirmed a trailer that's coming in December. So, you know, there's that too. But when it was a thing, so I would look at something like that and go, okay, what's the highlight from the first mission? Because like these missions were decently length, like 6 minutes each, and there's like, what, 6 of them? So we're talking 30 minutes of just missions if I put it all in. So instead just look at the highlight parts when people are talking. Again, cut out dead stuff. Parts where maybe, if there's a death, like a funny death or something like that, right? Otherwise, Mercenaries made it really easy because there's just like not a lot to work with. But if there was a lot to work with, okay, it could still kind of be like a highlight, almost montage-esque is what I would say when it came to GTA stuff, and especially when it came to doing heists and stuff like that, right? Like even the older videos, the 2 back-to-back heists with Digi, which is funny because we did Humane Labs with Digi as well. And the problem was my mic didn't record my voice for the second half of that video because there was a Windows update. And I was like, thanks, Windows. So I had to go and commentate. But it captured everyone else's voices and stuff too, so I kind of tried to work it in, coinciding with what was going on at least. But also, yeah, we can't let Eggman get the Chaos Emeralds because it turns out Chaos upgrades with the Chaos Emeralds. Go figure. That's not good. But yeah, so with GTA, that's kind of how I would look to doing GTA videos, especially when they're with friends. Once they actually announce GTA 6 proper, I'll probably do a Let's Play. Like in 2024, we're probably going to do a Let's Play of the story for GTA 5. Like go through the single player. And then you'll see some of what I'm talking about put into action there too, right? As I'm going through this. Now, a single player game with story, you do kind of want to have the story be in the video, so that's what some people are watching for. But in a game like GTA 5, where it's not a new game, they're probably watching for your reactions more so than the story. Maybe there's some people that if they've never seen the story, they're watching for both. But that's part of having you there is your reactions, your commentary, and your entertainment. So that's why I keep bringing up the word commentary a lot, because commentary is something that defies your, videos from other people, right? Freaking, I just saw it before I started this recording. FNAF Helps Wanted 2 is now out. The reason that everybody is going to be playing it, even though a lot of people might watch, say, Markiplier play it, the king of FNAF, if you will, is because there's still going to be differences between Mark and what he says and what he does versus someone else. And that's going to make someone want to watch other people's Let's Plays as well as his, right? Like, it's not like, oh, I watched his, I don't need to watch anyone else's. I mean, sometimes with some games that happens, but with like, scary games and games with jump scares and stuff, people will watch like 17 different people play that game. And what keeps them around and what makes them are going to want to watch your video, though, is going to be your commentary. And also if you get jump scared. Now, I'm going to be honest, I do get jump scared low key, but it's not entertaining. Like if you were watching through Poppy's Playtime Chapter 2, when I got jump scared by Pugapillar or whatever, I did get jump scared. But you might not even remember it because it wasn't an entertaining jump scare. It wasn't like a Steam level jump scare, I need to work on that actually. And that's something I'll talk about later, I guess, too. But in conclusion with GTA, right? I might do that just to prove the points that I'm talking about. But also with friends then, it's like, okay, when someone cracks a joke and things like that. Because the part of doing the videos with friends is that it's with friends. So one thing I would say I emphasize when I make those videos, and what you might if you decide to make videos like that, is obviously the friends aspect of it. It's part of why I'm fine putting my deaths in the videos. I could edit these videos, of course, and make me look like a god gamer amongst, gods. I don't, because that's not the point of the videos. The point of the videos isn't, hey, can I, beat my friends in this game without dying such and such situation. It's more funny, especially a game like Gary's Mod, but even just period. Some of my deaths have just been kind of stupid and also hilarious at the same time. Some of them weren't even caused by friends. It was just like, you go to flip a car, you hit your tail light, and the entire car explodes. It's like, okay, well, I guess I've lost this race. But I'd say structurally wise, and commentary, like I said, I'll bring it up over and over because that's probably the thing about a lot of these games and even by yourself. And what harkens back to what I was talking about with mutes is there's ways you can do commentary stuff without speaking, right? There's plenty of faceless and voiceless YouTubers. They've existed forever without showing their face or without using their voice that have been pretty successful. Especially if we're talking about streaming, right? Like on Twitch. Listen, look, Minecraft and League of Legends carried the early days of Twitch. And a lot of those people weren't necessarily talking or having their face on camera. Sometimes both, sometimes it was one or the other. Sometimes some people were on camera but not talking, and some people still gained an audience. Now, it depends the metric you're trying to measure yourself by. If you're someone who doesn't do those, but you're trying to measure yourself to someone like a Markiplier, you shouldn't. I don't see the point in comparing yourself to him or anyone that's super successful, because then you're not really kind of building on yourself. Instead, think about like, what's the you brand? If you want to think about how things would be like if you were as successful as him, think about it not as you being him though. Think about it as you being you, just happen to be that big, I guess. But at the same time, no. What's the you? What's the you aspect? Because it's literally in the name YouTube, right? What's the you part of it? What makes the stuff yours? And I know that sounds redundant, maybe, or kind of silly, I guess, but at the same time, the reason that's kind of important is because you're not any other person but yourself. So what does your brand of making your videos look like? And if you want to mimic someone until you like figure out your own style, that's even fine too. People do that all the time. But what does, you know, say if you were making Pog Citizen videos? I'll use that as an example because a couple of y'all play Pog Citizen, right? If Lot was making a video based on the time that they got sucked out the ship in hyperspace and got burnt by the sun, or was that I think that was Elite Dangerous. That was one of those games. That was my point, right? There's a world where Graphic and Lucy's Misadventures, that could be a whole like montage video between the crashing into the mountain, the barrel rolling, the trying to park the ship and the hangar doors closed because it was a ceiling hangar. Like there's things there, and I guess that's my thing, is like highlighting moments like that when you're going through all these series is kind of how you do that. Yay, let's go Tails. We're gonna kick butt together. How do you have two tails? Interesting. What if all foxes actually just had two tails and we just don't know it because one tail is like always invisible? That's the plot twist. They can all have two tails and as such they all fly. We just never really paid attention enough because they're always grounded when we try and look. It's like a cartoon. Magnet Shield. Magnet Shields is always good. But, you know what's not good? Tornadoes. Unless it's Tails' plane. Tails' plane is called the tornado and that's fine. Like nature, not so much. Tornadoes aren't that fun. I got sidetracked, I know, but listen. There's a point I'm making. And it's that I've put the idea in your mind. Every fox that you've ever seen, fox girl, fox period, they all have two tails now. You can't unthink it now. Huh? Oh, and that's a tornado. Where'd you come from, buddy? Thanks. You know, funny enough, I talk about my dislike of spiders, but for a long time I had a dislike of tornadoes. And some people might be like, don't most people dislike tornadoes? I used to have nightmares about just endless tornadoes coming down all over the place. Because in third grade, my third grade teacher showed us the movie Twister. And at the time I was like 9. And so I didn't understand that there's certain conditions that have to be met for a tornado to actually form. I just thought if the wind just got strong, because they didn't explain that part. The teacher just kind of let us watch it and just didn't really go over anything else. So I'm thinking, oh, if the wind just picks up enough, that makes a tornado. And third grade teacher, she would never clarify. We'd ask questions and they just wouldn't clarify. So I'm just like, okay, cool. The wind's looking kind of strong today. Might be a tornado. Until my mother caught on. And then my mother taught me, no, that's not how tornadoes work. And I'm like, oh, thanks, Mom. Because for a while, I was not being taught anything by the people that would be teaching me called teachers. Now, back to our regular scheduled, we're talking about how mutes can be just as amazing as people that talk segment. So that's one of the things too. And I imagine, like, obviously I'm not going to hit any of them up right now. I think most of them are asleep. I think the only one that might not be asleep would be Lucy, but she might have also just be resting from work, so we're not going to bother her either. Turns out, yeah, we're just not going to bother people. That's how we work. But I would imagine some of them could talk about, like, comedic timing, because obviously, like stand-up comedians, for example, right? Even ones that talk, when they're on stage, they're pretty, you know, expressive. They use their hands to talk. A lot of them. Let's not do that. They move. They kind of. There's a word for it, and I'm forgetting it right now. But like, they kind of act out some of their skits that they're talking about, even if they're talking about it. And so I imagine if you ask any of them too, like even if they don't use their voice, that's still part of what, you know, some of them do, and that's how they emphasize some of the jokes that they make, right? Like, what's the last VR chat video? It was one of the last two ones, because we're at Prompt or Death, where Lucy's like constructing a gun, for example. It's just simple stuff like that sometimes. That's what does it. Mitchie was dying because there was the one time Capstan was using a TTS, and it was the NPC thing. Mitchie thought that was hilarious, for example. I thought it was hilarious too. And that's my point. It's like, so expressions can also help with a lot of stuff. I'm not being super expressive right now because I said you could watch this or listen to this in a second tab. So it would defeat the purpose of just doing this proper if I was kind of then dogging y'all like that. Oh, Chaos Emerald. That seemed kind of mean. It seemed kind of rude. It seemed kind of wrong. With GTA, of course, it's not VR chat, so how do you be expressive? Well, for one, violence seems to work. Dying a lot and getting killed by explosions. The rogue coming out of nowhere, out of left field and taking us out and the whatnots. That seems to work pretty well. Do I need to go to Station Square? Because that train just lets you know that's a thing. I don't know if I need to go to Station Square because I can get the ice key, but I still can't go up to this. So why do I need the ice key? You know what? That's what Tikal is for. This is Tikal.
Go to Station Square. You may find something.
Well, okay, so we need to go to Station Square. That's neat. We'll take the train. Or can I just run down the tunnel? If I just sprint... Hold on. Do I need the train? Or can I be the train? I'm the train now, and I'll just proceed in the tunnel on my own. Thank you. No, there's a wall blocking me. Okay, so you know what? Never mind. Plan B. I'm literally Sonic. I could probably race this train there. But you know what? Y'all do a good service, so we'll use it. How about that? So GTA, this is the problem with doing a video like this, is I keep doing it like this instead of, I thought this would be more entertaining than just talking and staring at a camera for like an hour though, because we're going to talk about a couple things. Because I'm going to go game by game. Ooh, neat. The sunset. Sunrise? Oh, that's definitely sunset. But yeah, so with those, I would say like, from y'all's point of view, whether you talked or not, that could be just some thoughts. So I guess a TLDR is, I would say, if it's like, we've gathered for a DLC, maybe look at, you don't necessarily have to put all the cutscene in a DLC video, because most people that might be watching a video might be us that played it with you, so we don't need to see that. And if someone really wants to see that because maybe they don't have the game and you're like their favorite YouTuber, that's something you can consider, you know, going forwards. But I would put it around moments, impactful moments at that. So either impactful moments in a cutscene, impactful moments in a mission. So maybe like the beginning of a mission, a hard part of a mission, and then the success of a mission. Or if we're just cracking jokes the whole time because it was the Mercenaries DLC. Buddy, that, it was like the hardest and easiest video to edit, and it was great. I don't know how else to describe it. It was both like fantastic to edit, and also like, how am I supposed to edit this situation? And then maybe like some in-between stuff. So things like getting killed on the beach for a couple times. Things like following when Digi, Tanks, and Lucy are riding in the Mercenary, and then I get brake checked on the freeway, and it takes out my Zentorno's headlights. I love that car. Thank you. I appreciate that situation. Or that. Okay, so that, right? Sometimes moments will happen, and then in the edit you can add on to them, right? Final Fantasy might be a better example because I'll do it in post, where I'll make a skit based off of something that happened more often than probably any other series so far. And it's always a bit, so I always worry sometimes about doing them because I'm like, what if this comes across as me being angry and I'm not angry, but it seems like it? So that's what I was worried about with the pole dance video, for example. I was like, what if people actually think I'm upset about this? Fortunately, after I looked at people's reactions, though, they like knew I wasn't, and so I'm like, okay, good. That's something you can work on too. It's like, how can I make sure that they know I'm not angry? For if you're trying to do a bit that seems like serious and stuff, but it's like there's a certain level of seriousness that it's not at the same time. So it's something like a GTA. Thanks. I know it's a co-stream, I guess. It's a co-podcast. Sonic is also here, doing his thing. Thank you, Sonic. But yeah, so part of it can also just be make sure you have cues in there that make it so it's known that you're not being serious. Like I think there was a part where I tried not to laugh when I was doing the pole dance video for Final Fantasy 14, and I left it in there so that you could tell that I was trying my hardest not to laugh. So I didn't think, because I think the squad knows at this point if I'm actually upset or not. So I think that lends itself to it too. It's knowing your audience, but like just in case, I was like, I could take that out, but I think it'd be funnier to leave that in, because then I think that's like a sign that I'm definitely not. Because like, spoiler alert, if I'm actually upset about something, I won't put it in a video most likely, or I won't like acknowledge it at all. If I'm making a skit, that right there is like one of the signs that it's something that does not bother me, no matter how the video is structured. It didn't bother me, or else I wouldn't be putting effort into making a skit, because some of those things I have to draw from scratch. I'm not gonna take the time to draw something from scratch that bothers me. I'm not that spiteful. Oh, I am, but usually not towards my friends. I'll put it that way. How about that? I'm not that petty. Usually. I need the ice. We're here for the ice key, by the way, and the police cars are gone, so we can go down to this section down here. That's not where the ice key is, but like, you can't stop me. I'm gonna be here now. I almost got killed by a taxi driver, and it would have been my fault, because even though I'm on the crosswalk, you can't hit your brakes that fast. I don't expect anyone to be able to brake instantaneously. What side of the road they're driving on? There's only one side of the road to drive on. There's no option. Oh, it's like a perfect world where no one can argue about what side of the road is anything anymore. Look, it's just one road, one way. Skits can be a way to interject in the edit, in the post, something that you might have thought was kind of funny, but maybe wasn't funny enough, and obviously you can't recreate it. Scripted content, we'll get into scripted content in a little bit, but like, so for example, and what in GTA, the freaking the bomber, okay? When I was editing the video, so Bury the Light, so this has layers to it, I guess. Bury the Light is like the first DM Lucy ever sent me. It was the video of the dude dancing to it, right? So there's that, first of all. Good song. Hey, Sonic. I know, I'm sorry, buddy. I get it. I'm trying my best here. I didn't write a script. If this was more structured, this video would have been 10 times better. But let me talk, man. But so there's that. A. B. So then we're playing the, I think it was the prison heist first with Digi, right? And it's the part where she had the bounty on her. And so I killed her because I'm like, I just want the bounty. I actually had no beef. I know this is back in 2021 where it was maybe a bit more seeming like it would have been like a beef situation, but I promise it wasn't. It was just the money. I was broke back then. It was $9,000. I'm sorry. So she went and got the bomber. At that perfect moment, it started to rain. I didn't know the Bombushka existed. And so while I'm editing the video, I'm listening to that song because I like the song. And I was like, oh, that's perfect. Because the Bombushka, first of all, I don't recognize it. So I hit my brakes, I pull over to look at it. It's literally coming out of a storm and it's approaching. And I'm like, that's brilliant. I don't know if the song is copyrighted. I'm going to use it anyways. Fortunately, it's not. Fortunately, that song does not get hit at all by YouTube's demonetization. It's actually, like, I guess, fair use. So it's even more perfect because it's a bit I can constantly use and I won't have to worry about demonetization for using it, which is different than You Raise Me Up, which we'll get to later, which I still do anyways because it's still funny, so oh well. It was perfect. So that's a bit that then existed because of those series of events that happened. And so now every time there was a bomber, even if it's just like the musical fit, like there was one part where in a more recent video, we almost collided. And so the music quickly faded in and then faded out as they missed. So it's stuff like that then will create a moment that you can then build off of. And it works out like that and it's pretty cool. I don't know if the Bombushka is going to make the jump to GTA 6. So we might have seen the last of the Bombushka actually. But maybe, and that's the thing with GTA 6, maybe we remix the idea, right? I highly doubt there's not going to be some sort of flying plane vehicle that can probably drop bombs. So there's a total world where that bit still survives and it's a fresh coat of paint on it. And that's kind of how that works too. Is basically sometimes in the edit, you have all these things, okay, commentary, highlights, moments, jokes, maybe death montage, etc., right? And that's how I structure usually GTA videos nowadays. And then there's moments like that are born within the edit that then you can carry on to other videos when it happens too. For example, one of the things I like to do is take all of those and then figure out if there's like a certain thematic for a video, right? Like maybe the theme of this video is based off around a certain mission, or like parkours, for example. Like the latest GTA video was Nanny's birthday, where we just did parkour maps. So it wasn't necessarily anything in GTA Online in terms of like DLC story or stuff, but it was parkour themed. So a lot of that was around the funny or funnest moments. Is that an egg? That's mine. Hold on. Excuse me, but I'm just gonna yoink this. Yoink. Am I pressing the wrong button? There we go. I'm pressing the wrong button. I now have this. This is now mine, and I go in here, and I'm going to put this down. I'm going to steal this. Oh, you think you're clever? Well, guess what? Oh, I thought I was clever. I've been bamboozled. Yeah, thank you. Your golden egg is now mine. Aha! I've escaped. Run! Oh, that's a hole. Go, my egg. Well, that was disappointing. Alright, I'm going in the hole. So even this, right? Like, okay, so this is kind of an example of part of why I'm doing this too, is because, like, if I was doing a Let's Play of Sonic Adventure, there'd be a lot of this moment of me just kind of going around the city doing stupid stuff that would probably be cut out for the sake of a good Let's Play. It depends. If people were like, no, this is actually really funny, leave this in. Yeah, but then, like, I appreciate it. That's the funny thing about Sonic too, is like he can roll around at the speed of sound, right? That's the idea, is that that's his speed. But in the old days, you used to have to get a level up item to light dash. But in the newer games, you don't need a level up item to light dash anymore. So can Sonic just move at light speed now? Has he just gotten faster? Maybe. I'm gonna explore the sewers for a bit down here. It's kind of damp and moist around here, but you know what? That's fine. I believe I can go this way. No, I cannot. Never mind. This is a giant random wooden box down here blocking the tunnel. How does that work? How does that work? Just a giant piece of wood in this tunnel. Alright, fine. Go this way. Whatever. But yeah, if we're taking this long for GTA, the other videos, man, this might be longer than I thought it was going to be. But no, this one's almost over. It's just like kind of looking for stuff like that when it comes to GTA. GTA kind of lends itself to a lot of downtime. So even like the Last Dose DLC. Why did it sound like I said that wrong? Last Dose DLC. I guess that's correct, but it sounds like I'm saying it wrong. Anyways, that lends itself to a lot of, like, I can just cut out talking with certain characters. Maybe leave one-liners in there, but still upset Freelander got away. Maybe that's why Michael's coming back to handle him. That'd be cool. Yay, we're free. Or no, we're not. We're in a loading screen. Oh, we're... Buddy. Ah, the golden egg is back. I see. It's also nighttime now, which is... All right, casino. Who wants to go gambling? This wouldn't be a me video without some gambling. Also, Takala's usually around somewhere, so you just go find her and she'll show you where to go. It's actually really nice. Gam, finish your point. How about I don't, just because you're rushing me? And I said you can watch this in another tab, so if I have to tell you that again, your throat is mine. That being said, yeah, so to finish up on GTA though, I've kind of reiterated several points about like what I look for when I'm making a GTA video, to the point where if I have enough extra stuff left over that doesn't really mesh into one theme or idea, you see me, there's only like 7 of them, but there's this idea, this like mini series within GTA videos called, I think I just call it like GTA Friend Funny Moments, and then I put the number of whatever like one we're on, where it's just kind of a bunch of montage moments individual that didn't really fit into a specific video, but were funny enough that I don't think should not be not used and discarded. I think the last one, for example, involved things like some shenanigans with mechanics, Table and Melody trying to kill Odaman, and me using my Bombushka to try and stop them. Turns out my Bombushka was good enough to not be killed because it has armor, but it's so slow that they got around me. So there's that. Oh, there was the keep away, where we're driving in one of the insurgent trucks and Melody's like, hey, how about you guys try and kill me and Gam out of nowhere? I'm like, oh god, all right. So there was that. And then Z helped me and Capstan break into Franklin's house in the story mode because he knew about the trick on the roof where you use the it's not called the pulverizer, but it's that gun though that you would use to move stuff. The atomizer, the up and atomizer. I'm saying the name wrong, but that gun, and we broke into that. That was like the last one, for example, where it was like a bunch of small segments, and so I just combined them into that. That could be an idea too, where if it's like just a funny moment happened, and you just put up a clip of it or a couple clips together. There's not maybe a specific theme, but maybe that is the theme, and that somehow worked for certain GTA videos, and how I sometimes looked at certain GTA videos was doing that, and it worked out. It was cool. It was like, oh, all right, neat. This is actually great. Now, if I recall, there's an alleyway over here that has some ice cream. I want some ice cream, man. I believe there's a statue of Sonic in the middle of this place. Get the Chaos Emerald? That's right, there's a vault. All right. All right, music. I understand you. Bump, bump, bump. So that kind of concludes GTA. We kind of did talk about it quite a bit. And part of the reason was some of what I talked about with GTA kind of exists for all the videos that I'm going to talk about. So there's a world where the other videos we're about to talk about in the series go a lot quicker because there's certain general things I was still covering over and over. It's just like if y'all was making a GTA video, like I'll use Lote for an example because Lote's actually like making videos now, right? Especially because Lote's playing Final Fantasy and there's usually at least at minimum tables like in there, and usually the others will swing by too. Even though whether like they stream or not, that could be an option, is to, you know, just utilize the fact that you're working off of other people, right? The video they uploaded was, you know, Smith was in it. Lote was like, you know, I might have an addiction to Fantasia. I don't know the verbatim, I'm sorry. But it was like, there might be an addiction, but at least I'm having fun, right? And Smith just goes like, no. And that's basically the video. It's like, that works. And I'm telling y'all, if someone said that you weren't funny in the past, they're stupid. I hope they trip on a Lego onto another Lego. Like I have nothing good to say about them. That's crazy. It's evil. I hope their pillow's warm when they try and go to sleep at night. I hope they have socks on and they step in something really, really wet and then trip on a Lego. Like, I have layers for that one. But my point is, as I move on to, we'll talk about Gary's mod next, because that one will be fun to talk about for a couple of reasons. Let's play some pinball while we do that. I forgot. Oh, the ball auto launches? Okay, so I believe the way Sonic Adventure works with this one is if I don't get 100 rings before I run out of balls, I go to the sewers, and I have to escape the sewers if I want to keep my rings. But if I at least get to 100, we're good. Huh? Alright. Gary's mod is interesting, because Gary's mod was one of the first times I played games with the squad proper. Like, there was, in terms of Seeker's Remorse. Knuckles. Knuckles. Thanks. He tried. Because technically there was, of course, the Steam Odaman Melody Humane's Labs video. And then... No! Then there was like the 3-hour Los Santos tour with Lucy as well. Hey. And now for 42 seconds I can't fall down that area. That's great. That's what Tails does. You're protected now. As long as I don't roll Eggman. Hate that. Hey, you want to refresh that? No. I'll take that though. Huh? Did I get anything? Well, I got the 100, so I can't. I can ball out, and it won't be anything now. Gmod videos were fun for a variety of reasons, and one of them is just that it's also just a game a lot of us can play. There's a lot of us. We've had like 16 people up in there once, so no one really ever. Like, if they didn't play, it's because they just didn't feel like it, which is totally fine. I don't want another Eggman. I'm a little focused right now, because I want to... If I can get like 400 rings, we can just get the Chaos Emerald straight up, and I don't have to actually do any of the other games. It's neat. However, the thing about Gmod that's also nice is, at first I was actually going to stream. That's how the very first like 7 videos came about. It was going to be a stream, and I hit record instead, and that's why I was like, why is chat so dead? I don't need chat to be flowing or anything all the time, but I'm just like, there's nothing. Not even like the bot that shows up that lets you know so-and-so is live. It's because I recorded. I'm like, alright, cool. One of the neat things about that was what I tried back then in the very first episode, and how I went about at first editing Gary's mod videos was, and this one I mean by Dead Space, I just left it was basically the entire raw footage. There was nothing really cut out. I didn't really have background music even back then. It was just the entire raw footage, and each episode would be like 2 maps at a time. So that's why they were like 40 minutes, because we might be on a map for like 20 minutes. And so then it was like, okay, well, here's like about 2 maps worth, and then boom, next video. And on one hand, it was nice because it gave us a lot of each map. Wait, what do you mean? I'm not out of... I had 1 ball left. What? You took one of my balls. Alright. Hate that. I'm running for it. Ah, almost. We can almost jump up there and grab the emerald now. Not quite, though. Alright. I want my ball back. I'm upset. I'm in pain. So there's this one, and then there's Nights in the Dreams. Where is it? There's another game over here we can play. It's like card pinball. This is not a very good video for really explaining stuff like it would be if I... Hey. But yeah, I was okay with that because I didn't know how many more Gary's Mod videos I was going to do, which is the thing with some of these series is I never knew how many I was going to end up doing, if it was just going to be like a one-time situation or whatever. So that's part of why some of the beginning videos in a lot of these series were long too, is because I was like, you know, this might be it. So I want to have as much as in here as possible. Wow. Thanks for robbing me. We'll talk about that with VR Chat too, because VR Chat, the first 4 episodes were supposed to be the only 4 episodes of VR Chat, and then it was just like, you know, this is kind of fun though, to get into worlds, and some of the worlds are like game worlds, and we compete and stuff. It's fun. That's how Gary's Mod first started, and then of course that's back when it was still on the tail end of the cursed Chiaki with a gun. There we go. I didn't record in 2020 when like it first started. But that lended itself to being a joke since it already existed. In editing could already continue, which was actually kind of nice for that. And then people in the comments who had never... Man, so there was someone in the I'm not going to call you out by name because they still watch to this day. But there was someone in the comments who's been with me since like 2016. Never even knew who Lucy was. Instantly! With the Chiaki with a gun and dying stuff. Yo! Thank you. So much better. Give me that. Instantly jumped over to Team Lucy with that because they just found that super entertaining, which is another thing about that bit too that I don't know if people realized. It wasn't even just like it was just funny to her. Like people found it funny. That's why it persisted. Really to this day, it's still kind of a thing. It's not Chiaki specifically, but just the idea of getting killed. The same said person commented on a Minecraft video once that I did solo. It's like, yeah, this video doesn't feel the same when you're not being killed by Lucy. I'm like, what do you expect me to do? Just like invite her into like a solo map instance in Minecraft and be like, yeah, I need to die. And you gotta do it. Somehow. It's like, alright. Okay. But yeah, so with those videos, what was nice though is that eventually I was like, no, okay, so one thing I can do is we don't gotta, like, sometimes some people, it'd be like 2 people left, and there's like 7 minutes left in a round, and they're just hunting each other for 5 minutes straight. And I'm like, we don't need the whole 5 minutes of the hunt. We just need like the beginning of the hunt, maybe a few times that something maybe funny happened. If not, then we'll just, you know, cut to the end of the hunt. Because we don't, that's just 5 minutes of a lot of us being silent, because that's one of the rules is when we're dead, we're at least silent about what's happening in the game so we don't give away people's positions and stuff. So it was like, yeah, in the older videos that would happen. It didn't really need to happen. I could use the YouTube cut tool to go in, post edit of a video and actually like take that out. But I kind of like the charm of those first videos in the sense of that's where I started. I like looking back and being like, okay, what did I used to do? Maybe I could bring something back. It's like, no, this actually was an improvement, actually, so we don't need to bring that back. We can do this instead. And that can be fun. And that's something you'll learn just with making videos over time, is you'll learn things that you like doing and things that you don't like doing. That just comes with practice. You'll hear that from a lot of people in a lot of professions. Gary's Mod was no exception to that. And so that's one thing that happens. I started putting background music. Okay, I was out of balls then. I had no balls. And that's something that I started doing with background music because Gary's Mod doesn't necessarily have music. And then like, there's a reason I use a lot of Sonic and Danganronpa, mainly Sonic, but there's a lot of Danganronpa I used to use too. Those songs don't tend to get hit. So those videos have a high chance of getting pushed out even to more people because a lot of those songs are copyright free. So if you've ever been curious about like my music selection, that is something that goes into when I'm thinking about what songs would be good for a video. Because then that's why you have some Gary's Mods videos that have done like hundreds of views. No video's done like 1,000 views yet, Gary's Mod wise. But some of them have done hundreds of views. And that's part of why, is because they weren't suppressed because I wasn't using copyrighted music. That's why I was worried about Buried the Light for a second, and then it wasn't. I'm like, oh, I'm using this forever. This is the bit now, is Bury the Light when it comes to the bomber. That's why stuff like that happens. And that's some stuff that some people don't have to worry about. But I do a little bit. Especially because like YouTube has the ad war going on right now. And for those that don't know, that's still how we get paid, is ads. I hate to be that guy because it feels like I'm like, it feels, I don't know how, the way I word this, I feel like comes across as I'm saying I hate people that use ad block, and I don't. I'm the opposite. I'm like, no, I completely sympathize with ad block because ads can be intrusive. And it's like, on one hand, I don't want localized or personalized ads, so I don't have the location on and all that stuff for a reason. On the other hand, because of that, you give me some of this, YouTube gives me some of the worst ads I've ever seen in my life that are like not related to me. And it'd be like, well, that's because you got to make them personalized. It's like, I don't need personalized ads. I'm a millennial. And like Zoomers after us, we basically grew up on the internet at this point. If we need something or need to look up something, we know how to Google. I don't need an ad to tell me something exists. I'll know one way or the other. So I don't want personalized ads because I think that would just be dumb. And I don't want generalized ads. But the problem with YouTube is, when I say this, unfortunately, that's what keeps YouTube's servers running and keeps the lights on, is ads. Ad revenue trumps everything else. Ads from partners and stuff like that. That trumps everything else when it comes to YouTube. I can't speak on other sites, but with YouTube, that is still like their highest amount of how they make their income is ads. So of course they're having a war with ad block, because basically the way they make money is people are blocking them from doing so. So like, I get it from a business perspective. And then on YouTube, like, that's like, if this video, for example, it's not going to, but if this video, for example, made 1,000 views, actually the Final Fantasy video, the most abandoned girl in the world, right? That did 1,100 views. I didn't make $1,000 off of that video. That's not how that works, because it's all ad based. And so if people watched ads in that video, which they did, the CPM usually is about 1,000 views per dollar. To oversimplify, there's other factors that can make things give you a bit more or a bit less. But it's usually, just for simplistic math, about 1,000 views is $1, based off of ad rates and stuff. So that video did 1,100 views. I made $1.10 off of that video. That's how that works. So like, on one hand, but people will hear that and think that views are based, or the money you make is based off of the views. It is, because then obviously the more views that you have, the higher chance of ad revenue you can make. And so that's how that works. It's not the views themselves, right? I have my most popular videos on the channel. If you sort by popular, we're talking like 61,000, 50,000, 48,000. If that's the case, and I was making $48,000, buddy, I would have gotten myself VR ages ago. People will come at me like, oh, why haven't you gotten this? Why don't you do this? It's like, you got that kind of money? Because if you don't, shut up. It's called budgeting, and I'm not going to break the budget for anything, unfortunately, because then emergencies happen, and then it turns out, good thing I didn't spend that money, because now, guess what? The car's brakes are gone, or something like that. That's the world I live in. So, I get it, though, why they're trying to combat ads, and that's why. Because unlike other sites, and why I bring it up, you know, like a Twitch or something, perhaps, you know, you can still give bits to a streamer directly. You can subscribe to them for a certain ad rate. And yeah, YouTube kind of has some of those features, like channel memberships. I do, because I am a YouTube partner, right? Like, that's how partnership works over here. It's ridiculous to get to it, but when you get to it, you unlock stuff like that. I could enable, that statue was not there before. So the more rings I've gotten, it started building. Okay. I could enable that. And then it's basically like Twitch subscriptions, right? Where it's like, but over here instead. So then it does give you like a flat rate. It splits it. YouTube is a bit more generous, so we get the majority of it over here. It's not 50-50. We get like, I think it's 60-40 or 70-30 even. That's how that works. YouTube Premium does exist, because some people are like, well, what about YouTube Premium? People, you know, yeah, so YouTube's concurrent viewers versus the amount of people that use YouTube Premium. YouTube Premium, they came out, like, they just talked about the numbers straight up. I think people that use YouTube Premium monthly, it's either 8 million or 80 million, which is a lot of people, but when you go to YouTube's like monthly users, it's far past 80 million. So the revenue they get from YouTube Premium is only like 4 to 8% of their income per month. So that's why they're so, I know it's annoying, and I'm not saying I'm not on your side, but that's why they're so hard-nosed right now on these like ad block war, is because that's basically the majority of their money. Like, I'm talking over 60 to 70% of their income is through ads. So obviously they would go after ad blocks, because that's 70% of your revenue suddenly gets cut. You're not going to be happy about that. That's just how that works. And so while I'm sympathetic with my friends and people, because like, yeah, we've all had actually some pretty bad ad experiences, some ads that were like actually horrible, and we're like, we wouldn't have seen this if ad block would have worked. At the same time, that's why though, to give you that insight in case, because like I don't talk about monetization too much on this channel, but that's why that's like that. And I'm not saying it's great, I'm not saying it's fantastic, I'm not saying that a lot of us have even pushed for not only different ways to just get paid, but just different ways the ads can work. Like I've had the conversation with Tanks just the other day. Banner ads are fantastic because they don't intrude, right? And so even if it's an ad for something you don't want, the video still keeps going, the ad still gets to play because it's still there on the banner or the sidebar. And it's great that way because like, okay, yeah, it's still there, but even Twitch does that where the stream will kind of zoom out a little bit and a banner ad will be below. It's like, okay, that's fine. Because especially with a live stream where it's live, okay, that's not that intrusive. Because I guess with YouTube videos, at least the video does pause. It's not like the video's still playing while the ad's going, you have to rewind it. That part is kind of nice, but it's like, I don't know, ads just feel archaic in a way. And so I'm not going to be sitting here like, oh, ad block is theft. I'm like, I don't feel that way at all, so I'm not about to say that. I think some of the ads that are put in are theft in their own way, so they just stole some of my time for something I don't care about. But at least, like, most ads you can skip after 5 seconds. If they ever took that away, then it's war. It already is war, but it's like absolute war. If they ever made it like, hey, yeah, you can't skip ads anymore. It's like, well, I don't need a 3-minute ad on soap. Trust me, I'm pretty germophobic as it is. I wash my butt. All right, I'm good. You don't. This don't need to be a thing. If anything, that's more of my problem with Twitch is there's all of a sudden the Twitch ad will start and it'll be like 2 minutes and 20 seconds straight of ads that are unskippable. I'm like, man, why can't you just be like, not like River? We don't need River. But I digress. Anyways, I got a little bit of a side tangent. We were going to talk about Gary's mod, but Gary's mod, it's nice though, because a lot of those videos, because some people are like, oh, you got to be Disney, you can't curse and stuff like that. That's been wrong for like years. I just don't bring it up because most of the people that say that aren't doing YouTube, so they don't really need to worry about it too much. And if someone says that they got demonetized because they were cursing, that's because they must have been excessively cursing. Like, trust me, the Gary's mod videos, the curse stuff we say in those videos, all of those are monetized. So I'm speaking from experience here. There's something else going on if a YouTuber's like, I got demonetized. It's like, it takes a lot to get demonetized based off of cursing alone. Was I'm sorry, but there's another factor you're not putting out there. And I'm not saying it's not confusing because YouTube dealing with their support can be confusing. So maybe that's the reason they just straight up gave them in an email, and it's like, well, that's not completely true then. But it doesn't mean the creator themselves is lying. It means there's a lot of lack of information that classic YouTube likes to do. Yes, all I wanted was one Knuckles. That's it. That's all I wanted. I'm good now. This has been a 20-minute segment right now. I'm just gonna. Oh, I can't actually die yet. So we'll just talk. So with Gary's mod, that's fun. Because how I now structure Gary's mod is we'll go over like a specific map that have like a specific moment in a specific map, and then it'll be like highlight montages from the other maps too. If an entire map is funny, there have been times where like the entire video will just be that one map. But usually only like 1 to 3 rounds are like the really funny stuff. There we go. And then the rest can kind of maybe be cut out, or maybe something happens really fast, like the beginning of a map. Someone gets an artillery cannon and decides to just blow us all up because it just would be funny. You know, that round was pretty quick then. So there we go. There was the Chiaki hey stuff with Lucy for the longest time. As the OG, she'll remind people sometimes. She knows this, so it's not like I'm saying anything new. She'll sometimes, it's not often, it's not like an every day or every week occurrence, but sometimes when Chiaki comes up, she'll remind people that she was the OG Chiaki. It was her first. It is kind of funny. That's an example. There's actually a lot of bits I could go over relative to a lot of people, but I don't want to. This video is already gonna be stupidly long, and I meant for it to be stupidly long. This might be the only video for the week. Like, Thanksgiving's coming up. I got some back projects to do. So this video might be long and you just watch it in segments, and that's why. It's like 5 videos in one, because this is gonna be it for the week. Probably not. I might be able to get some other videos, but I'm just saying, like, look, there's some stuff that's come up, some fun stuff that's come up, and this is why I've decided to structure this like this too. It's like, you know, this might be it. So watch it in like 20-minute segments, like if you were watching a video, and then come back for the next 20 minutes, and the next 20 minutes.
What happened
But
to that emerald we just had?
It's gone. Oh, there's Cream. There's Cream the Rabbit. No, camera. Wait. Cream. Oh. Cream's gone. Cream's gone, y'all. There's no more Cream. So with Gary's mod, this is where we get controversial. If you're watching or listening this long, this is where we get a little bit controversial, because we've had people in the past who they don't play anymore. They kind of, and I don't mean like unspoken, who has just been really busy, but he was even in call last night as I'm recording this video. We got people that still like swing around from time to time. I'm talking people that are gone. Like no one talks to them anymore. They're gone for various reasons. And some that straight up got kicked out of day one of TTT because of their attitude and mindset. When the TTT server was made, it was made as it was not supposed to be competitive. It's supposed to be for fun. 2 of the people that showed up on the first day, competitive, not fun, gone. I wasn't playing day 1, I was playing day 2, but I watched day 1. It was one of the first times I ever joined a call in Digi server. I won't name the names of the people that got kicked out, but I'll just name the names of the people that weren't kicked out. So you had like Digi, Lucy, Tanks, I believe Z. I don't know if he was there for day 1, but he was there pretty early too. Myself, and some aforementioned people. We've had bits and stuff over the course of, 80 plus episodes that have stood the test of time. They're still around in some regards, right? But then we've had situations where like, okay, we'll have a moment where like, obviously like Lucy killing me. That's funny for people. That's funny for subscribers, blah, blah. It depends on the situation, but it still can be done pretty funny, right? And not even just killing for killing. Like it can be done in a whole entire in-game bit. I can bring up the eviction notice, or I can bring up like Maidsifer or something, right? Like there's ways we can still go after that. And then you'll have like standalone moments where maybe Graphic was like, hey, can you check if this gun is loaded? And he'll just shoot me in the face and kill me. And it's funny. We've had people in the past who like, they were revenge killing, which is against our rules. But they were trying to pass it off as like, oh no, I'm just doing like the thing like what Lucy and Gam do, or like when Graphic does that. Or it's like, no, you weren't. You're just trying to pass that off as that because we also allow that. But these are 2 different things. I guess 3 different things, right? And so there were times where sometimes we've enacted rules because somebody like that was doing something like that, and we just made it a general rule to not call that person out specifically. And then those people kind of don't play anymore, and so we don't have to worry about that anymore. So there was a world where we kind of dialed back people killing people, even if it was funny, whether it was Lucy or Graphic. And Graphic doesn't even do it constantly. He'll do it maybe like 1 round on 1 map for an entire day. But it's still funny, right? It's still lighthearted. Gramps, you'll hear Gramps be like, oh no, if they were shooting you, it'd look like this, and he'll mow somebody down. He's also a bad guy, so he's doing his job actually too. Like, Sonic, I swear to God. Trust me, we will get going. But we'll have moments like that where those are moments you can structure a video around. So I'll be going through a video and I'll make a moment around the video, maybe some time before it for the build up, after it, all of us dying from laughter after. But we've had people in the past, which I'll just straight up say, we've made some rules, and that's why. There was a time where we had a karma penalty. It was one of the more recent rule changes that we enacted because of some of those people. And then those people don't play anymore, so we don't have the karma penalty anymore. And that's why none of us really bring it up to, well, Gammo does, but Gammo's only does. The rest of us don't really care if it comes back, because the reason we enacted it, we said it was general, but it wasn't general. It was because of a couple people that were revenge killing, but trying to be like, oh no, it's a joke like when such and such. No, it wasn't. And we knew it wasn't. I forgot the ice key, by the way. So that's happened before, where there's been rules we've put in because of a situation, and we'll just say it's a general, because there's other rules we have implemented because of a situation that happened, but then we thought about it and we're like, this would have been a good rule to have regardless though, so here we go. There's been stuff like that too. But yeah, basically, so editing TTT videos got interesting in 2022 because of stuff like that though. And now we're back to kind of everybody's chill. There's not really situations at all. If there is a situation, a person usually apologizes like within 10 minutes, so we don't really count it as a situation. But that really doesn't happen all that often, because a lot of those people kind of got weeded out over the years. 20, like I said, that group of us that started was so like me, technically I was there by day 2. Oh, we can go to Knuckles. We'll was saying, so like Digi, Lucy, Z, Tanks, myself, and some others way back when. At first, Graphic didn't want to play because he found the game too memey. That was like 3 years ago. As I'm recording this video, it's, you know, the 20th of November. That started at the 17th of November 2020. It's 2023, so there's that. A lot of people didn't last if they weren't gonna last, is what I'm basically saying. And it's nice because then the ones of it that have lasted, like, we know when we're joking, we know when we're serious. And so sometimes you might see something that seems serious and the rest of us aren't reacting because we know, you know, after 3 years, oh no, they're not being serious at all. It's kind of like when I was talking about bits and I was like, I want to make sure I always put something in to make it, you know, people know it's a bit. But with others, it's just timing, so you know, it's like, oh, they seem angry, but they're actually not that angry. It's fine. Don't worry about it. Or if in a situation where they actually did get angry, usually the people that are left, like, they will apologize. The people I'm talking about, in case you're just kind of curious if I'm talking about you, I'm probably not, because the people I'm talking about, like, they double down. We've had people in the past that would double down instead of apologize. Sometimes people get angry, but like the people that are still around, they apologize. They come back and be like, you know what? I had a bit of an outburst. You know, my bad situation. People back then, they're like, no, I'm right, and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, all right, you know what? Maybe you need to go. Maybe you need to go. Maybe it's time. So if you're sitting there and you're like, that doesn't sound like me, or like if you're confused if I'm talking about you or not, I'm not. If you have to question it, it's not you. Don't worry. It's people that won't watch this video because they're not around anymore. They don't come around the server at all anymore. Nothing like that. But what it means for Gary's Mod videos is fun because then a lot of stuff is just lighthearted at this point. We've worked through the competitive phase for just about everybody. Like, I'm considered chill. And I am chill-ish, but there was a part when I didn't really understand how bad Gary's Mod was. So I'd get annoyed, not at people, but trying to snipe people. I've shot people where the cursor's on their head like 4 times and they won't die. And then they'll just turn and cross-map shotgun me and kill me. I'm like, I hate this game. I've gotten over that. And that's part of what, I guess, leads to when I'm booting up Gary's Mod, that game cannot make me upset anymore. At all, because I'm booting up Gary's Mod with the expectation this game has a horrible engine and I will not be able to take this seriously because of its engine. So that kind of is what leads to the secret, I guess, of the chillness, if you will, is you can't take that game seriously. It will frustrate you if you try to take it seriously, so don't take it seriously, and then you'll just probably usually have a blast because you just will not care. And not like the I don't care, but it's because I actually do care, but don't care kind of a care that people have sometimes. I'm talking like actual non-care. That's Gary's Mod. You cannot care. The game's too wacky. Which is low-key, I'm worried about when like TTT 3 comes out, because it's gonna be on a better engine, and so maybe it'll put the care back in, and suddenly the lightheartedness will kind of become competitive again. I don't think so, but it is something I've thought about low-key. Like, I hope not. But what if, because things actually work the way they're supposed to work, that happens.
Careful not to fall off.
I'll try. Oh, it's collapsing. Anyways. But yeah, so that's what Gary's Mod videos. I usually structure it around 1 or 2 rounds where something really funny happened. Mainly 1 round. That's how the thumbnail and title gets constructed off of usually. And then it's highlight modes. And then like, so what I used to do is I'd say I put like an entire map would be a thing. Now, like 2 or 3 episodes of TTT might be from one day, where I get more out of an episode because I have more moments from, you know, each map. Because sometimes we have like a lot of maps where funny stuff happens. Blows up. No, wrong game. Tally-ho. Oh, the classic, the camera's behind you and you don't know, you can't see where you're going. Oh, okay. I mean, it's an avalanche, so it should be kind of fast, but I didn't expect it to be that fast. But yeah, so that's how Gary's Mod videos I tend to edit those. So I kind of wanted to slide that in there because with editing them, I used to do the whole map, then I narrowed it down to the bits. Then the bits kind of, basically what I'm saying is they got dialed back because like we had to implement rules that kind of low-key killed some of the bits. But now we're back to a lot of the bits being back, so the TTC videos, I'm editing them like I kind of used to in the old days because it's just chill. It's all just chill now, and that's pretty good. I like that. It makes it a lot easier to have some consistency there. That's why we're almost at 100 episodes now. We survived. So now we can move on to VR chat. VR chat's interesting because it's mainly a social. Yeah, social. It's a so-so game, you know. but it's also a social game. And so a lot of moments, and this is where I come back to the expressiveness, a lot of moments that have happened in that, hello? Hello? Attack jets in the winter? You're not allowed to be out in this weather. But, oh, they're doing bombing runs. Oh, it's bombs. Yeah, you're not the Bombushka. I'm not worried. Y'all trash. It's a social game, so there's not a lot of, like, I don't really tend to put, when I go after VR chat videos, a lot of meme images and meme posts and stuff like that. I'll put sound effects, sure, but a lot of what drives those videos are the interactions. And that's why I'm talking about expressions so much, too. It's because, like, a lot of stuff that will happen is in the game itself. The conversations we're having, yeah, VR chat has certain maps and stuff, and maybe spooky maps or game maps, that there's some other stuff that can be done. But a lot of the time, honestly, it's just us and what we're doing in a moment that make those maps and make those videos what they are. Unless we're talking about the Fears map. The Fears map was wild. I didn't record that. I should have recorded that, but that map was wild. Bro, the interview, that was just the freaking, FNAF 6 interview the animatronics section. But it was Simon Says, and I can't remember, because there's a warning on that map for arachnophobia. And so the whole time, I'm worried about spiders. That's it. You've taken away anything else I can enjoy about anything, because now I'm just worried about spiders the whole time. So low key, as we're doing the interview, if you get it wrong, the sucker moves. And I'm like, okay, that's neat. Cool. Click. But what I didn't realize until afterwards with Yamo back in the lobby is like, it moved and its mouth was slowly opening, and I think a spider was coming out of its mouth. So that might have been the arachnid, because we went through like several other maps. We kind of noped out eventually because we weren't feeling it after a while. I'll just say that. So we didn't get through the whole thing, and maybe there was like a giant spider section and kick rocks. Listen, noping out is very fine and very valid in situations, and yeah. Giant spiders, that does it for me, especially now that I got VR. Yeah, I'm telling you right now, if we do a map and you know that's in there and you don't tell me, I'm gonna nope out and I'm gonna abandon y'all, and I'm not gonna feel bad, because you guys know better, right? You guys know better. So if you do that on purpose, y'all can kick rocks. So for example, the last spoopy map, the spoopy map video, yes, it's the boy.
What's up, Knuckles?
My boy. There was a giant spider part in the last video that I cut out, but the reason that was fine is because Table didn't know. He didn't know that was a thing that was going to happen when we went to that map. But there's a part where it's actually in the video, we get to this one room right after there's the little girls screaming, and there's boards on the floor, and they start falling away one by one. We drop into a giant spider's nest, and it's definitely spiders, because it's not broken glass. It's like that graphical look that makes it look like it's broken glass almost, but I'm like, no, that's webs. Me and Tanks, we know. Me and Tanks hate spiders. We know webs. And so we're like, that's, not only those are webs, those are giant webs. Sure enough, all of a sudden, because it's not a big area that we fell down either. Oh no, there it is, by the way. Oh no. Every time I hit him, he says it.
Oh no.
There it is, just in case you couldn't hear it. All of a sudden, giant spiders come crawling down the walls, and me and Tanks, you can't book it because it's a scripted section, but there's like a hole in the wall that we thought we could go to get away. Not only is there more spiders down there waiting for you, you have to wait for these spiders to grab you and then carry you down this tunnel to the next section. And me and Tanks were done. We were over it. We were like, nah. But like what I'm saying is, so in Table's defense, so he didn't know that was coming. So this wasn't Table being like malicious. So that's why you don't see me going, man, Table, you suck. No, he doesn't. He didn't know that was coming either. It wasn't pleasant, even if you don't like, or even if you're not afraid of spiders. It wasn't a pleasant experience. These weren't really like cartoony spiders either. These were kind of detailed, and it gave me Dark Forest Chamber of Secrets vibes. I didn't like it. Cut out the video.
I have 4 lovely emeralds.
Crap, you do got 4 of them now, suckers, don't you?
Chaos.
And Chaos is always nearby, ain't he? That's not good. I'll do a proper Let's Play in case you're like, I kind of want to know about this whole Chaos Emerald situation thing. I promise, I got you covered. We're going to do a marathon of Sonic games from the classics all the way through Frontiers. And when I do that, it'll be story driven and it'll be great. And so if you really want to know what's going on better, I got you. But yeah, so what I'm talking about is like, so a lot of stuff that we do though is social based. So there's times like the intro 47-second intro. There's a lot of people in there, mute or that speak, and the whole intro is You can't hear none of them. It's all expressions and funny things people did physically. Well, most of it's funny. Sometimes it's just really cool. Like when Z did the breakdancing on the hoverboard while we're speeding like in a desert wasteland. That part was sick. There's the dancing part from like New Year's that I left in there, for example. There's a couple sections in there. Digi dancing as Togami from Danganronpa 2. Capstan somehow eating an entire giant shake and the cup with it. Like, there's a couple stuff in there, and that's my point. It's like, that's mad funny, in my opinion. And that's one of the things about, in general, too. You want to construct stuff that's funny to you, because then you'll attract an audience that finds things that are like your humor, and it makes your job easier down the road. If you just chase memes, and the memes weren't even funny to you, then what will happen... Ow, I'm drowning. What will happen is you'll have to keep up with memes to maintain your audience. Well, if you happen to do a meme because you also find it funny to you, that it just also happens to be popular, that's fine. But basically you want to keep it to try and do memes, if you do that route, that you find funny. Because then the audience you build is going to find things funny that you find funny, and it'll be easier to keep them entertained for like ever. Because it's basically people that have your humor. And with VR chat though, where I'm going a little bit sidetracked, was that's part of why I don't necessarily do the memes and stuff for those videos, but I do try and put a bunch of moments in there, because people that then enjoy those videos, I basically are enjoying y'all. That's basically what it sums up to. And that's what I kind of used to do. The videos used to be long because I put the entire night of like world hopping in one video. So videos back then used to be like 44 minutes, 47 minutes. I hated that. Because some of y'all will still sit down and watch the whole 47 minutes. You'll speed it up, and I know you'll speed it up because a video will drop. It'll be like a 12-minute video, and you already know something that happens 8 minutes in when it hasn't been 8 minutes yet. So I know you're speeding up the video to at least like 1.5 or 2 times speed, which is fine. That's not actually a problem. I'm guilty of doing that too, so I'm not about to sit here and act like, oh, that sucks. No, that's fine. It's just, I think it was a lot worse when I used to make those really long videos, which is why I stopped doing that for watch time's sake. For a variety of reasons. But VR chat, what I tend to look for then is like moments where like we're going through something, maybe action moments if we do maps that have like action on them, like the zombie map that we did, or some of the spooky maps and some of the puzzles and stuff like that. But usually, oh god, the egg carrier. VR chat, I base it off of more of the social interactions because it's a social game. That's basically the summary for VR chat. And social interactions can be anything, right? So you got the graphic shuffle. That's what I call his dance, for example, having that in there for something that happens. Conversations, period.
I have some unfinished business to take care of.
Why?
No problem, Knuckles.
Why?
Take care of everything here.
No, come with us, Knuckles. Knuckles, come with us.
Let's get going.
Man. But Knuckles, you cannot play as Knuckles. Let's go. I could just play as Knuckles for the rest of this video. I kind of want to wrap it up in a couple ways though. Where I was going, so VR chat, there's plenty of, I brought the NPC thing that Capstan did once. That was funny. Actually, the one time Capstan and I were on that cruise boat was funny too, because I made 2 shorts out of that and both of them did well. And Capstan was like, people don't even understand the joke. Why the heck did this do 2000? I'm like, that's the point. I keep trying to drill into some of y'all's heads. Is it doesn't have to even make sense necessarily. It just has to be something that happens, and it's for some of y'all, it's that's it. That's all you need. I'm not saying you can't be critical of yourself. I'm not saying be complacent. I'm not saying you can't want to improve. I'm not saying you can't want to do better. But I think some people have them set so far at 0 on some of these stats that I'm just like, it's not correct though. It could be funny. I talk about like Lucy building the gun. Lucy also does this thing. If I ever spawn into a world, or if I'm ever in a world and I just see like black fingernails all of a sudden in my point of view, she does this thing. And I thought getting a taller Monokuma would solve the problem, but then she also has her OG model still, which is like 6'6", so I got nothing to compete with that. She'll just go and rest her arm, and that's just her fingers right there. I'm like, man, that happened during like Suki's birthday too. I spawned in the world, and I just see that. I'm like, I know who that is already. And that's my point when it comes to creating bits too. Like, we didn't plan that. I'm like, hey, by the way, Lucy, every time I spawn in a world, and you, however tall I am, so adjust accordingly, just go ahead and do that. No, that's not. There's a lot of things that have happened that I've never communicated with anybody, period, to do. They've just done it. And that's what I think that's part of what makes it funny too, is because scripted content can be great. Even even like lightly improv, but like maybe the scripted part of it is like how you start and how you end situation. That can be fun. But there's a lot of things that people will do that they'll just do on the spot and it works. The Skeletor voice that Digi does, for example, during TTT sometimes, he'll just do that. We don't like before we hit record and stuff. All right, so Digi, we're gonna be on a map that has a bathroom at some point. We're gonna need you to go into the bathroom and pretend like you're having like you're trying to fight demons coming out of your gut, essentially, while people keep walking in. You need to kill them, and like none of that ever happens. With the heist with the Humane's Labs heist with Steam, Melody, and Odeman, we just kind of did that because someone was like, I kind of want to do some heists with people. I'm like, I've never done heist. I forgot heists were a thing. Sure. The freaking barrel. The very first barrel was in that one. The very first one. And it got destroyed because it was uninsured. And I've had like 17 barrels, well actually only like 6 since. And a lot of them were uninsured too. And yeah, they've gotten destroyed. The first one got destroyed in the finale of the Humane's Labs heist, that one. The rest were destroyed by Lucy, one way or the other. One on purpose. I wanted to see if my armored barrel. So the barrel Mark IV is my nightclub barrel. That has the minigun mounted on the top of it and everything. I'm like, is the armor strong enough to withstand Lucy's Kanjali tank? It's not. So, you know, there's that. Yeah, that's cool. Turns out. That one was like for free. For free? Yeah, for free. Crazy. You know. But even that, like, so the tank deathmatch, that one, that was a complete accident. There's a button where you can speed up your respawn. I know that's back to GTA, but there's a button where you can speed up your respawn. So when she killed me with the tank, because we got on because me and Lo both had bounties. And so we're going to get on and people were going to try and claim the bounties. And so Lucy got out her tank, killed us both in one shot because we were both in the car. We decided we we're going to team up. No one will see it coming. It's great. Like pulled up on the curb and I'm like, okay, Lode's here to kill me. Oh, cap? Yeah, she was going to pop a cap in me. There we go. No, she was like, no, get in the car. I'm like, oh, I see what you're doing. Cool. Boom, got blown up by the tank. When we got blown up by the tank, I meant to hit the respawn speed up button. I hit the deathmatch button. And of course, Lucy, especially this is back in 2021, she was not gonna not accept a deathmatch, especially when she has a tank. She'd do that today even, probably. So that's how that whole video came to be. And that was like the whole thing. That's the only GTA video that has hit over 100 views though. The only other one that did was the Mercenaries one because I low-key clickbaited people. That's GTA videos, that's kind of how they tend to do, funny enough. Did I go past these staircases like 17 times just now? Okay, you know what? That's fine. I was like, we gotta go get the tornado. We're getting the plane so we can go chase the egg carrier, right? But yeah, so when it comes to things like that, and I'm bringing this up in VR chat because a lot of the way you interact in VR chat is interactions, more so than anything else. There's not cutscenes in VR chat. There's not a lot of that stuff to work with, so you have to do other things. And VR chat lends itself to do that for a lot of people in a good way. So that's why you see people do a lot of VR chat content. It's pretty easy to do. And then like if you don't talk, like let's say you're one of the people that are mute and you're like, okay, maybe I want to make one type of video. How do I have my own stuff in it though, if there's not a chat? Subtitling. I would not recommend doing word by word. But I've seen people do that where they'll put like their whole expressions or they'll put in brackets like an expression they were feeling. Because like if Lucy does something like I was mentioning, from my point of view, we see all of Lucy, right? So like we can see all of what she's doing. But if it was from her point of view, for example, we can't necessarily see that. So it would have to, that's maybe how you would do that. If you were someone that was mute and you're like, well, then it's one thing to talk about it from your perspective, of course, that works. But how do you do it from our perspective? That could be one way to do it. I'm about to say, I have lock-on missiles. The Tornado is actually a really great plane. Time to be the best pilot in all of Mystic Ruins. Here we go. But yeah, so that could be an option. TTS is how some people have done it in the past as well. Like that's one of the things Lote does consistently. So there are ways to talk about how to go about that if someone wanted to do that. I'm just also of the opinion, I'm not saying these things so you have to do that. I'm just like, there are doors we can open though, if that's what you want to do, because like as a one-time thing even. Let's say, like I said, there's something that's coming up, something funny or whatever, and you want your point of view as a video for the memories, because that's how all these videos kind of started, was as a memory. I recorded the heist with Melody, Steam, and Odeman for the memory of it. I didn't record that video like this is going to be a super viral video, it's going to be great. It's like, no, I just want to be able to look back on this and laugh at it and stuff, you know, years later. So with a lot of these videos. You know, 2020 was already 3 years ago, and while I wasn't recording TTT back then, 2021 happened, and I was recording, and we can already look back at some of those videos and be like, man, yeah, remember when this happened? Remember when, you know, all these funny things happen? And so with VR chat specifically, it's funny because it's really moment based. That's how the intro even works, right? The intro is just a highlight of moments. And I did that for a couple of reasons. So there's a couple of reasons VR chat and TTT have intros. Part of it was for fun. I came up with a fun idea that I wanted to do. But part of it was the monetization thing. So I talked about cursing not being an issue. It's an issue for like the first 8 to 15 seconds. It's supposed to be 8 seconds by now. I don't know if they've enacted that, but it was for 15. It was for 15 seconds for a long time. And so if I make an intro that is longer than 15 seconds, that counts. Then, you know, 16 seconds in, if there was cursing and stuff, it's fine. It's past that point. And again, it's for advertisers. So again, that's how it works. YouTube personally doesn't care if you use copyrighted content or stuff like that, but advertisers do. So that's why if you want to be monetized, you got to do that. But that's why if you do copyrighted stuff, you don't get copyright strike. You get a copyright claim. That's because like the person that made the music maybe cares, but YouTube doesn't. That's not good. Oi. Oi, best pilot in Mystic Ruins. Oi. Well, actually that tracks. I do. So fun fact, speaking of GTA real quick. Z and Lucy might be the ones that know the most possibly. I have the tornado in GTA. They've both shot it down. So maybe they recognize it. Yeah, I have that plane. It's a duster, crop duster, but I have the color scheme and everything for it. So I've seen that scene many times in Los Santos as well, where I'm falling to my death. It actually happened. There was a Rogue video. It was only like an 8-minute video where after Odeman's training, I get 2-0'd by Lucy, and she chased me over grapeseed, and I just accept my death because I'm like, oh yeah, I can't eject. I don't have a parachute. This thing's done. It's on fire and just spirals kind of just like that, and then falls and explodes, and I die. Where's Amy? There we go. This video's been kind of long. But yeah, so they're VR chat, stuff like that, that could be an option. And I would, like I said, so instead of doing word by word, I would recommend doing like whole sentences or statements. That does make subtitling take a lot less time, in my opinion, and makes it more worth doing. I hate subtitling word by word. It just, there's a Risk of Rain video I did, the last Risk of Rain video I did, actually, where I did word by word. That video took me 6 days to come out. Because I'd subtitle like 30 seconds and it'd take me an hour to subtitle 30 seconds, and I'd be like, I'm working on this another time. I'm going to do something else. So that might be like one thing I'd bring up if you were doing that route. And even if you do speak and you want to do subtitles though, because subtitles can be nice, it keeps people engaged with what's going on the screen longer. That could be an option where you do sentences instead of words, or you do like half sentences. So you do like half a sentence at a time to constantly keep something moving on the screen. That's what I would probably recommend. Which leads us to Final Fantasy. I'll talk about Final Fantasy for a bit.
Sonic, wait up!
Yeah, there she is.
Long time no see.
Couldn't be longer.
What's wrong with you anyway?
However, with Final Fantasy, the way I go about Final Fantasy is I kind of look at, how would I word this? It's a hybrid. That's the word I'm looking for. It's a hybrid, because with Gary's mod, with GT Online, with VR chat, like I said, there's no cutscenes, there's no like story to progress through. We kind of make up stuff as it happens. And so the reason I bring that up though is because Final Fantasy XIV does have a story to progress through. So it's a little bit of a hybrid situation of sometimes I'll have, you know, cutscenes and moments in there, especially if they're action packed, because there is a story that's still being progressed through. But it's also with friends, so that there'll be like funny moments like the pole dancing or like the most abandoned girl in the world, or and when I talk about making skits, right? There was one time Lucy was AFK and we were trying to figure out what happened. And so I jokingly in the moment was like, oh, she stood up and did a backflip and landed on her chair via a handstand. And she was so proud of it that she's just still holding that handstand right now. I just made that joke in passing. And then in edit, I was like, okay, well now I gotta draw this. That'd be funny. So I drew it, and it took a while because I have a problem where I'm a perfectionist. I hate to admit it. I won't say I'm a workaholic, but I am a perfectionist. On one hand, you would think I would torment myself less by, if I was going to draw something like that, maybe I would choose one of like her avatars that doesn't have as much detail as the Placo, okay? which screw y'all, the Placo is still a funny name. Because the name itself isn't what made it funny. The reason the Placo is funny is because we just look over and Lucy is just putting a taco on a plunger. No one told her to. We would have missed it if we didn't even look over. Like, she was just doing it because, and that's what made it funny. It's because it was just unprovoked. It's like, why are you putting, we don't know. It's kind of like Tanks with the bird tower. Tanks was stacking towers of bottles and then just puts a bird on the top for no reason. Stuff like that. And that's what I mean, right? Like, I bring both of those up because neither of them talk, but it's still funny. That's entertainment. I'm not saying people need to like be like a jester and entertain the masses kind of a thing, but I'm saying like, that's my point. Not a single word was spoken. Funny. In both those situations. I'm just telling y'all that it can work. I'm not saying you need to force it. I'm not saying, and I'll get the scripted content probably to round out the video, but like, I don't know. I just think some of y'all, because I don't know, maybe you compare yourself to stand-up comedians that sell out stadiums. I don't know, but no, some of y'all are mad funny. And it's moments like that, right? Where it's just like, again, I guess the word I used was, unprovoked. That wasn't, no one, there was no reason to do that. But where I was going with that was like, I might be a little bit of a, I won't accept the alcoholic. Man, I know. I just definitely won't accept the alcohol. Like when I drink, I don't drink until I'm drunk. That's why y'all don't know when I'm drinking. Because I don't drink until I'm drunk. Workaholic, however, I won't accept, but I would probably accept perfectionism because like when I drew, okay, now I gotta go backwards. So with the GTA, I did a thing where I drew, because it was me, Lucy, Tanks, and Digi. And I drew our characters in the roles accordingly. But since Tanks and Lucy were doing pilot stuff, I just drew their regular avatars at the time. And then I drew Frag as the prisoner, and I drew myself as the security guard. Because we went inside the prison. Which, funny enough, by the way, I'm just gonna bring this up, because this video is all over the place now. So I got in trouble for implying that Lucy had the easy job of piloting the Velum. In a world where like the fighter jets can straight up just ram the Velum and destroy it, which is kind of annoying, low-key. But I went back and watched that video. And in the same video, like, she insulted my shooting. So technically, we were even. So, there's that. I'm not petty, so I'm not gonna hold that over someone's head or something. It's whatever, isn't it? I'm just saying, it's like a thing, isn't it? Okay, cool. But I decided to do that for the thumbnails. I also kind of just want to try my hand every now and then at just kind of drawing most of a thumbnail, because I think that would be fun. But I would, because at the time that was like the main avatar she was using. My God. And I've talked about this before. There's so much detail just in that jacket that it's insane. And so the perfectionist in me refuses to not do that. And so of course, instead of like the recent avatar that she used, there's a lot of things that would be more simple if I drew that one instead. And then I took a good look at the arms the last time I was in VR chat. I'm like, the perfectionist in me would not draw all those tattoos or markings or whatever on her arms. I could not do that. Thank you, Sonic. Just like that. I wasn't quitting that until we landed on the pole. So there's a part of me that's like, I could do that. And then I'm like, I looked at it like when I was making the thumbnail for the second to last video I did, and I was like, I could not do that. See, the thing about the Placo is I've drawn it before. So in most cases, I just repurpose what I've already drawn. If I tried something else, that's the problem. So in case low-key, I guess for her specifically, no one else might care, but in case if she's like, why don't you do some of the other avatars? That's why. It's because I'll look at one, I'll be like, that actually would maybe be simpler to do. And then there'll be like a detail, and I'll hone in on it. I'm like, I would never get the thumbnail done. Or I would, but like maybe the video took me a day to edit, and the thumbnail will take me like a week, because I'm a perfectionist. To the point when I did speaking of Final Fantasy, when I did the chair flip, so I put the bit in there where they actually backflipped onto the chair and landed, you'll notice I changed the Placo a bit, actually. I kind of changed a couple of the details on there. So like on the socks, for example, there's like the kanji markings. I just made it Lucy going vertical instead. I was like, we'll just do that, for example. Or on the back. On the back, there's actually markings and stuff you should be able to see. I just did the pentagram, made it look like a cyber one because it's like a more of a cyberpunk-esque situation. And then like on each end of it, I put like each letter of her name, for example. You might have noticed that low-key. There's a compromise I made because I'm like, this video's been done for 2 days, but I'm just stuck up on trying to make this perfect. I even retook the head off of the other one and planted it on that one. That happened. Sometimes when you're editing a video, that's going to happen, where you're like, I'm going to repurpose assets that I've used before, because if I don't, I'm going to drive myself insane. Maybe not, because some of you are actually great artists like Steam and Graphic and people that know what you're doing. But me, who art is like a secondary part of what I need to do sometimes, not so much. And so I was just like, man, even recently, so I did the midriff video in Minecraft, and I did that because I was trying to get Mitchie in trouble. It didn't work. I like 3 videos straight of trying to get Mitchie in trouble. Even that's not cut off because there's an entire picture I drew. There's nothing left. It's just stomach, basically. I guess there's like a little bit above and below the stomach that I drew, but even there's no arms even because I didn't draw. I was like, I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this again. I'm not doing this for like a 5th time. That's it. That's the whole thing. That's it. If I was supposed to, if the picture was possible to zoom out, it would just be a cut off like head on up and cut off from like, I guess it was like the waist down. That's it. So like, I'm not doing this again. The perfectionist in me will come out, and for some reason that specific avatar has so much detail on it. Then I've contemplated drawing the other ones, but that's why I also haven't, because then I'm like, I gotta do, even like the OG one has like all the stuff on the shirt. Otherwise it's a rather simplistic avatar. That's not an insult, by the way. That's not like a bad thing either, but I'm like, oh yeah, maybe I could do the OG one for once. And then I saw the shirt and I'm like, I wouldn't let myself quit that. And that happens with a lot of stuff too. That's why there's some people that I still haven't drawn yet, because I have to get myself ready if I'm going to be doing that at some point. I got to get myself in the zone to be like, all right, now look at all this detail over here. Like Tanks has a new avatar. I haven't drawn it yet because there's certain detail. I'm like, all right, I gotta prep for it. I gotta get ready for it. It's dumb maybe, but that's my mindset. So that's why sometimes I reuse. So like that's why for sometimes I reuse the Placo, because there's a lot of stuff I've already drawn for it, so I can just reuse it. Cool. There we go. A little bit of a sidetrack, but that's. And Final Fantasy, what's nice about it too is because there is story, it does help structure-wise, right? Structure could be something that can be difficult when you're editing a video to figure out, like what kind of theme, what kind of start and finish do you want? And Final Fantasy tends to have cutoff points of, oh, well, you just finished a massive quest. That can be the cutoff point for a video. And even though there's more you did in that day, that can be another video. And even though it is with friends, so there's a lot of things that are structured with friends, a lot of dungeons and stuff that are done with friends, because there's also story that actually can help you kind of be on track. And Final Fantasy, like every series that I've done, fell prey in the early days of being longer than they needed to be, because I've kind of you'll find a stride with a lot of videos eventually of how you exactly want to edit a video. And at first I was like, I want to put as much stuff in as possible, because like every series, I don't know how long it's gonna last. And then once I learned that, oh no, we're gonna be like 30, 40 episodes into this, I start doing what I call like highlight montage-esque, right? I don't show like me going through the entirety of a dungeon start to finish, because some of those dungeons might be like a good 13 minutes. And like if you've noticed with Final Fantasy videos, Final Fantasy 14 videos, a lot of them I try to keep at or under 14 minutes. Okay. But my point is, so like if an entire dungeon is 13 minutes, of that 14 minutes, oh god, wasn't I here already? It's a proxy thing to trigger these cutscenes. Oh god.
No problem.
It's alpha. Fun fact, okay, side note. The E series of robots in this game are based off of Greek. So yeah, E101 beta, E102 gamma, etc. That's E100 alpha. They call them 0 in, I guess, like the English version of the game, because, you know, instead of 101, 102, 103, it's 100, which is just 100. So 0 technically is used in both in a way, but that's E100 alpha. That's the beginning of the alphabet for the Greek alphabet for it. And that's why beta is not the beginning of the alphabet, but starts the rest of the E series. It's because alpha does exist. But they call them 0 in this, though, just to let you know. Fun fact, though, why did they start with E101 beta? Where's alpha? That is alpha. Oh god, monkey, it's always monkeys. But yeah, so Final Fantasy is nice. One of the ways I look to is try to keep things under 14 minutes, or at 14 minutes. So I think the last video was like 14 minutes and 48 seconds. That's one thing I'll try and do. Come get your licks. Come get your licks. Garbage, all of y'all. So that's kind of how I structure those videos. That's why I'm fine with taking my time with the game too, because like, on one hand, it's nice to try and fit a lot of stuff in, like having the Valentine's Day video. Like, low key, while we're here, I put up the front, you know, that we don't talk about VR in this house, but we do talk about VR in this house. VR are fantastic. I can say that here in the comfort and safety of my own video, especially when we're over like an hour into this episode. So like, I don't know how many of y'all are going to make it this far anyways. But yeah, no, they're fantastic. It's the year of the bunny. Of course they're fantastic. I am not, though, however, going to become a bun boy now that the lore was explained about Vieras, though. But Viera women, fantastic. Absolutely. But anyways, with Final Fantasy in general, right? It's just like, it's kind of cool to do that. It's kind of cool to have those bits in there like that, like the chair flip and stuff. It gives me an excuse to draw too. I like being creative. It's why I like doing videos over streaming. I like the editing process. I like the packaging. I like putting it all together. It's not that streaming is stupid or anything like that, don't get me wrong, but that's why I love doing videos so much more. There's more I can do. And that's an example, right? I can't do that live, or I could do that live, but it took me a long time to draw that. So like that, it would take a while for all that to come out and blah, blah. Oh, you want to race? Y'all don't got family like I do. But yeah, so there's several series I've talked about now. Minecraft kind of works very simplistically. The first video is usually like a tour of everyone's bases and stuff. And then the second video is like an exploration video. Like there were several servers in a row we did where it's like, oh, here's what everyone's bases looks like. Here's what everyone's building. And then the next video is like me and Lucy getting lost in like the land out there somewhere, finding stuff. Like that time we had those backpacks and we like raided every village for their food that we found. And then someone tried to sell her like a fake diamond sword or something and she killed them. Or maybe, I don't know, I looked away. Allegedly, they could be murdered, I don't know. There's no evidence. So Minecraft is a lot more simplistic. That's kind of because Minecraft has a lot of downtime. Like the early Minecraft videos, there's a lot of downtime in them. There's actually like a lot of downtime in them. They're not, like the first Minecraft video doesn't even have music in it. And there's just a lot of nothing. By the third video, I started knowing how I wanted to do Minecraft videos. That's when the throne happened. The throne that was in my house, by the way. This was great. I told that story already. It was funny because Lucy made those fox tunnels. I mentioned that in the last Minecraft video, funny enough. And it was a way to, it was like a network to get to everyone's houses. And it was just funny because there was foxes that me and Tanks got. And the amount of times I'd go to feed my fox and they're just there already feeding it instead. It was kind of funny because of those tunnels. But like they work because one of the things about them is mobs can't spawn in those and it's great. Strike, of course. Give me my comeuppance. Right, for all the jokes about the Lucy tunnel and stuff like that and why I keep saying it's great, it's not an analogy. I'm talking about the fact that there was one night on the first modded server where she just explained for like a good hour her plans for like 3 different types of tunnel systems and trains that she was going to make. And it sounded really cool to me. I'm actually kind of upset that she never got to do it. I think one was like a hydro train, or I don't know if it was a hydro train, but it was a train that was going to be able to go underwater so that we could get out to certain places, making crossing the ocean a lot safer. There was the steam powered one, and I think there was going to be an electric powered one, if I remember the conversation correctly. I was paying attention, and it was great. Thought it would be really cool, especially because like in modded servers, I hadn't played a lot of modded servers at the time, so there's a lot of ideas people had. Battle had this idea with like a bunch of redstone that seemed pretty sick. I was looking forward to that. And then it took me 3 days to build that computer. And now I'm never doing that again. My rule is like, if Lucy's not on the server and building a tunnel, then I'm not building a computer. And I say that mainly because she's usually going to probably be busy because she has a job. So usually I should be pretty safe from not having to build a computer. It's great. And then I'll look up and then she'll be like, yeah, I'm building a train. I'm like, dang it. All right, thanks, buddy. Appreciate it. I have to now. It's such a grueling... It's a very useful device to build, but my God, is it so monotonous to build each individual like computer chip so you can build the motherboard, so you can build the I'm like, bro. But I've mainly talked about my ideology and going into editing videos, what I look for. GTA covered most of the general stuff. All those things kind of carry over for a lot of it. We're supposed to be looking for Amy. Amy's running for her life, and we're just at the park. All right, cool. And how that works out, and that's kind of what I do when I go into these videos. So, you know, deaths and stuff like that. Like, okay, so I said we talk about You Raise Me Up, right? The thing about that, it does get copyrighted. but it's so funny because sometimes that's the secret when you're making a video. You do something, it just cracks you up forever, and you're like, I gotta do this now.
Oh, shoot! I've lost Amy.
You sure did, buddy.
That robot hauled butt after her.
You sure did.
I'd better catch her before it does.
Yeah, that'd be a good idea. So I did it the very first time I died, and I thought of the song, I played it, I laughed for like 3 minutes straight, and I'm like, I gotta do this. This has to be a thing now, and so I did it. And one of the more recent videos with Heaven's Ward, when when the king and all the 7... I can't count. There was way more than 7. I put the Backstreet song in there for a brief second when they all like evolved into their bigger forms. Stuff like that. Sometimes stuff like that will just happen, and you're like, I don't know if it's gonna be funny generally, but it's funny to you, and it harkens back to, if you find it funny, you're gonna build an audience of people that also enjoy your sense of humor. So there's a chance they're gonna find it funny, but even if they don't, like, you gotta want to be able to watch your own videos. Is the thing. That's the thing. You gotta want to be willing to watch back your own videos. If you're not gonna be willing to watch your videos, who's gonna be willing to watch your videos? Oh, right. I need to go to Speed Highway. That taxi always wants to take me out. At least buy me dinner first. Like, I'm not against the idea. So this is an example, right? I'm lost. I'll figure it out in a second. If I was making a Let's Play, I'd probably cut out this search time, unless I was saying something really funny or commentating something really funny. But since I'm not, I'd probably just be silent, find out where I need to go, and then like cut the edit, and then put it right in, and there we go. That's an example. Okay, so now that example's done, though. Hey, can I get a burger? Or a pizza? A pizza burger? A burgered pizza. Nope. Okay, thanks, bye. That's my philosophy for a lot of that. I'll do a separate video where I'd maybe talk about how I actually go about editing thumbnails too. Oh, Speed Highway is accessed over here. Gang gang. I knew it was Speed Highway, I just forgot how to do it. There we go. Now, a neat thing in Sonic Adventure, low-key, is that you can... This is back when you used the spin dash to jump, so if you timed it right, you could go like this and be like, boom. I don't have enough air. Oh, we're dead. Goodbye. Yeah, sorry, buddy. But yeah, so that's my philosophy for editing a lot of those videos. In case you're ever like, I want to record one of these myself, and I'm kind of curious how I would go about doing that. Like, what I would look for, how do you do it? And then you can always reference this video because it's a video, so you can always come back to this and listen to certain sections. I could, I guess, talk about... so one thing, though... Wow, that was mean. One thing I'll admit is I do have a horrible habit of being like, I'm hungry. I'm not going to eat, though, until I finish this project. Because if I eat, I'm going to get tired, and then I'm never going to finish this project. Let me just explain something. That's not a good mindset to have. I'm saying this, and I know I don't take my own advice, but it's not good to have, right? Because let me tell you about the 4-hour eating meme, right? There's a meme that it takes me 4 hours to eat. In reality, what happened that night was I had a headache. So I went to eat, and then I was muted. I was still on the call, mind you, for 4 hours, but I was muted because I just had it was a terrible headache, and it would not go away either. And part of what brought that headache on was that I just straight up forgot to eat. So that's why it became a joke. Like, it get to a point where both Gammo and Lucy, because Gammo and Lucy have good memories. That's the problem about trying to pull one over on them. They'll remember stuff. So you'd see them be like, go eat. It'd just be at random sometimes too. But especially if we had been playing a game for a while. They'll both remember to remind. And it's not that others won't either too, but it's just like, for some reason, both of them have scary good memory. Let's stop doing that. But that's where that meme comes from. If you've ever seen that, if it ever gets mentioned in a video and stuff, it's because that's what happened this one night when TTT happened. I just forgot to eat. And it was funny because, like, it was one of those nights where we played TTT longer than we meant to, but it's because we literally were all having fun. Like, we didn't have a bad moment that night. I hadn't eaten lunch. I don't know if I ate breakfast even. I know I had tea at least, but yeah, that's basically what happened. And so I didn't have the energy to talk because I was just, the headache was really, really bad, actually. So now it's a running joke, and that's what I mean. So I lean into it. I'm like, yeah, you know, I gotta go hunt the food before I can even eat the food. So that, you know, how that be sometimes. There's farmland out here, so I got to actually go to it and, you know, then, you know, get the chicken, for example, and then actually, you know, cook it myself, and it takes time. These things take time. Oh god. A hunger headache, basically. Yeah, it's or a combination thing. Uh-oh. I'm gonna hit something. Ooh, actually the controls in this is kind of smooth, considering this is an older game. Actually, no, it's actually kind of responsive. I like that. It's been a minute since I've done this. Your glass means nothing to me. I have cuts all over me. There we go. I was waiting for this part. Idiots. They collided with each other and blew up. Oh, now I can't get up there. Anyways, that sometimes can be, when you're editing a video or making a video, what you look for too, by the way, is moments like that. That's not really used often, but moments like that get created like that. And then you kind of decide if you want to lean into it or not. You can go the opposite route, right? There could be a bit that exists and your whole thing in the bit is to go the opposite of its existence and pretend like it never happens ever and that it's the stupidest thing possible. Unless it's something that actually bothers you, then you put your foot down and let people know it actually bothers you, and then they stop. That's what usually happens in this group. Ta-da. Or it can happen. It depends, because there's some jokes that have happened and you would have thought by the response of somebody and how threatening they might have been, that wouldn't persist, and then it still persists anyways, and it's like, well, dang, that's crazy. Or sometimes there's a game of telephone where something happens and by the time it gets around the rest of the group, they're explaining it completely different. It's like, that's not what happened at all, but all right. But it can still lean into moments where then these jokes can come up during editing. Like, let's say, oh god, the stupid couch. We go to a VR chat world and for some reason it's just couches. Someone's gonna make the couch joke. And then that can be a bit though for the video, and it works. And it's one of those where it kind of depends on the person. That's, I don't want to say like the butt of the joke, but like if the person's okay with the joke that's being made and it's not obviously like a terrible, you know, joke, that can be what helps you create moments when it comes to structuring the videos around certain moments. Yeah, moments help make moments. Go figure. But I mean, like, creating these moments from nothing, you know, from something that hasn't happened yet. Now, can we race the train? Because I think we're going to be faster than the train. No? Because other people can't run faster than the train, so the train's everybody's got to use the train. How does that just appear above? Stop! Jump in the beam with them. What are you doing? Move your feet. Right, okay, so like for example, people being okay with a joke, right? I guess take a step back wasn't really a joke in a sense, but like that's a bit that Mitchie does where he's like, he'll be like, take a step back, and he'll start a shootout with somebody. They'll have themselves a duel situation where usually the person's okay with having a duel with Mitchie in that moment, so that's how that goes. Or if someone else uses it to Mitchie, that's kind of how that works. It's like yeah, actually, yeah, let's have ourselves a duel. We're gonna fight now. That's where this is going, situation. Or like the trio does not trust table flip. We're not saying table's a bad guy or anything like that, right? It's usually that's in a situation where the three of us, so me, Mitchie, and Lucy, who use the Helltaker models, can't trust table for one reason or the other in a game. Usually TTT. That's actually pretty sexy. Thank you, Tikal. This might be literally the one video for the whole entire week. I'm letting you know right now. I'm looking at the time and I'm like, you know, by the time I edit this video and it gets out, this might be this week's video. Like this week's video. A whole movie, basically. The Master Emerald. And it's not complete. There's a chunk missing right there. Alright, Knuckles, you still got work to do, but it's looking pretty beautiful. Also, I don't see any hostiles around, so I'm going to leave now. It looks like it's pretty safe right now. But anyways, yeah. I might make a second one of these because there's some general stuff I'd love to talk about, but I don't want to make this video too much longer. Get out of here. Get out of here. Yeah, so because I've basically covered the philosophy of how I would go about editing videos when I record them and how you could probably edit videos when you record them if you don't know where to start. Structure's a good one, how you want to begin, how you want to end. That's why I start off with howdy do. Yeah, I took that from Kakashi, of course, because Kakashi is like one of the greatest evers to ever do it. I don't care. I don't care how mainstream or normie you say Naruto is. I really don't care. And that's part of it too. There's certain things you gotta not care about. Like, try a joke, and if it doesn't stick, it doesn't stick. But try it anyways, because then what if it does stick, right? There's a world where I never did the bury the light with the bomber, and we never have that. There's a world where Z doesn't say witness me, and we never remember that. Like, there's so many moments and things that don't happen because people either, well, for one, don't record, which is in itself fine. People don't necessarily want a camera on them 24/7. It's why I don't record Discord calls. I mean, like, if we're in a call while we're gaming, sure, but I don't just sit around if we're just in a call and just record the call. I don't think that's necessary. Yo, I almost died because of you. You done, kid. You done. However, where I was going was like, so I mean, there's certain things where I would say, like, if it's something you find funny, but you don't know if other people would find funny, I'd still say try it, because why not? It could be something cool. It could be something funny. It could be something that works out, and then you'll be happy that you tried it instead of being like, well, I'll never know. Am I supposed to go down this or up this? Because I'm not. Okay, there we go. I would always say that. Which I guess I'll talk about titles and thumbnails real quick, because I've done a lot of experimenting with those, right? I talked about the Mercenaries video. I straight up, I was yellow journalism in it. I never had a GTA video that did over 100. The tank one only recently did over 100. And so I kind of wanted to do one. I was like, there's a part of me that, as much as this is a hobby, as much as this is, I make these like for the people that are most likely in the video to watch and enjoy, there's a part of me that's like, I've made over 800 videos. And there's still, with all the knowledge I have, I can still drop a video that does somehow only 10 views. And I'm just like, I don't want to do that anymore. So you might have noticed over 2023, the titles and thumbnails have gotten a bit more spicier. And that's kind of why. It's like, as entertaining as I say you guys are, for example, I should want to try and get that in front of more eyes then. And so I did what I did with the GTA video, and I do not regret it, because part of it is also just sometimes experimentation. Sometimes it's like, would this thumbnail even look good? Is this a style I want to continue using in the future, or is this only good for this one video even? I'm perfectly fine doing that, and I won't apologize for it either. Like, there's a level of not care for when I'm experimenting I don't have. Maybe that sounds mean, and I don't necessarily mean for it to be mean, but it's going back to what I just said. I won't know until I try it. Maybe there's something that I think might seem a little clickbaity, and everyone actually thinks it's like one of the funniest things I've ever done. In that case, I'm like, oh, then now I'm glad I did it. I would have never known otherwise. So sometimes with titles and thumbnails, I'll do that. Titles and thumbnails, I'll make a specific video for that though. It won't be too much in this, but I will say the secret, in my opinion, when I've ever made a title, especially a title, but even a thumbnail, you want to make people ask a question. You want someone to see that and be like, I have to know the answer to that. And then you want to make sure in the video you answer that question, and that's usually the difference between people being entertained and people feeling like they got clickbaited. If we play VR chat and I go, you won't believe what's under so-and-so's skirt, that's probably going to make people be like, well, I'm probably not going to believe it until I see it. Yeah, what's good? Oh, God. I never played this game in high enough definition to realize how many spiders were in this. Okay, they're kind of cartoony, so it's whatever, but I never know. Ooh, there's a lot of them just there waiting. Yeah, we're out. But if I make a video and one thing happens, so situation, there's a lot of graves. Are we in hell? Have I gone down there and I just didn't realize it? I don't think these crosses would be here, right? I don't think that works down there, right? Right. Anyways, video A, there's never even a single skirt in the video. The entire video, it's still like, say, VR chat, but it's like a VR chat racing map, and that's it. We just race. It's Daytona, you know? That's clickbait. Video 2. Someone has an avatar, which under their skirt is like a particle beam cannon that they can use that has really cool effects that can cause like a giant explosion on the map. That's not clickbait. Is it sensationalized? Sure, but then you're actually like, hey, I got you curious by this, and this is also in the video. That's a bit of an extreme example. You don't have to go that far, But that is an example of like a strategy people employ then when they make videos. And so then they structure a video around a moment like that, right? And then they think about, hello? Okay, thanks. They structure a video around a moment, and then they think about how they can do that with the moment. Oh my god, these graves are killing me. And so if you make a title and thumbnail like that, you just have to make sure you deliver, right? Even the midriff video. I'm a little proud of that video because that, as someone who's not a good artist, that is the best midriff I have ever drawn ever. It was all to get Mitchie in trouble too, but like low key, that is the best I've ever made one, and I am proud of that for that reason alone. But it's like that literally was part of the video. That was why that exists. In case you're like, why does that's the reason. It was to get Mitchie in trouble because he brought that up. It didn't work because I can't get Mitchie in trouble for no, I can't, bro. I could say someone has like nice eyes and I'll get shot or stabbed or by a couple of y'all. Mitchie got away with some foul stuff for 3 videos in a row. Nothing. I'm like, all right, I see it. I see what I must do now. I see how it is now. But yeah, it's one of those things where that is a strategy you can employ. It could work, and that's the strategy I've been using. I've experimented with that. So that's why sometimes you'll see a title and thumbnail and it'll look really wild or maybe even a little baity. I'm pushing to see what does and doesn't work in these specific niches because it's all gaming, but it's different games. So some things work a little different for some than others. And that's one that I've noticed is that's one that tends to work a little different for some than others is when they're a little bit more sensationalized and then when they're a little bit more truthful, or the Grand Theft Auto, and I say the Mercenaries DLC was the best DLC ever and 200 people watch a video for it. Funny enough, one of the comments for that video was they didn't like the first beginning 4 minutes of me just getting killed by y'all. And I'm like, literally everybody else does. So I'm just going to protect you by deleting your comment so that the other people can't dogpile onto you. Because that's one of the reasons they're here, is to watch me be killed by people. And I guess that's also, if you're watching and you're like, you know, you're the people that are in the video, like Steam and Odom and Melody and all them, or like the Seeker's Remorse, right? That could be one of the nice things too, if you guys wanted to make videos, is there's already memes we have and jokes inside, jokes that we have that you can build off of already, instead of even having to try and figure out new stuff, right? Which leads me to scripted content. Scripted content I don't think is fake. Especially because when most people say scripted content, they usually kind of mean improv, but maybe they have like a beginning and an ending that they want to start with. I've had plenty of conversations with Lode actually about what she wants to do for Final Fantasy stuff, Fantasia stuff and shorts and whatnot. And they're technically scripted, and that's fine because guess what? That creates a structure in itself and you want to entertain people and it works. She has idea. I'm not going to spoil her ideas, but she'll be fine with me mentioning that though as an idea, because that can work wonders, is having like a beginning that you want and having an end that you want, right? Like spontaneous stuff is fine too, but that can be a way to make specific ideas if you want to make a specific idea, like you want to make a specific adventure, a specific RP kind of a situation or idea on a specific game, be it Final Fantasy, be it Minecraft, be it Gary's mod, right? And then just kind of work with people and be like, you know, I brought up the eviction notice, for example. So far, so good. Don't jinx it. Yeah, I hope you know what you're doing too. That's not how a plane turns. That's not transform. Oh. There it is. Now we're a jet. I was trying to bring up an example and then I just kind of forgot. I'm sorry. I like how now you deploy landmines as an air defense tactic. It's a bit too late for that, buddy. We're beating up the head carrier today. However, where I was going with, so like, the eviction notice, right? So it's like that. Let's say the trio does not trust table flip. It has something to do with the eviction notice, right? That's something where you don't necessarily have to script like word by word, but like when we bring up the eviction notice, we know kind of what our parts might be in that. And so we go off of there. And that could be like an idea for the other 3 of people if they wanted to make that one. I'm not saying they should, but I'm saying like, I like giving examples because I think those are more easy to relate to than me just spouting information blindly. Especially when I don't have visual examples in front. But that could be an option. It depends on the joke. I'm pretty sure I should not, like just saying the word Maidsifer isn't what gets me in trouble. It's if I bring it up and I force it. It was Halloween once, and I was like, you know, it is Halloween. That wouldn't be a bad outfit idea or something. I forget what I said. And that's actually what led to the 500 pings. It's because I was like, bet. I think people forget that I do that quite often when it comes to a lot of people, Lucy included. I'll just be like, bet. Doesn't mean it's always a great idea, mind you, but I will say that quite often. It's like, all right, do it then. And then the thing is, Lucy will do it though. That's the crazy part. Oh, that carrier's done. You're done, buddy. You're done, no. So that's an example. I mean, I don't think she's like actually super annoyed with the joke. She just said she would bring back the debt if I brought that up, like in like a joking manner, not just mentioning it by name. But that's what led to those, because she was like, no more CFO info and like 500 pings on Discord. And then she went and did 500 pings.
I forgot something.
So
What's that?
There's no landing gear.
I guess that would be the conclusion, is also know the limits of the people you're working with too, right? Like just make sure things are clear. If that was for, and I'm using that as an example, let's say that like actually annoyed her. She had a past experience with a maid, and they got into Mortal Kombat, and it's actually a whole experience for her, right? Yeah, then it's like we don't make that joke anymore, because that's more of where I'm at. Because like, for example, people have phobias. I'm not gonna bring up whose phobia is what, but sometimes people have brought up, hey, you know, so and so's like afraid of this. Why don't you use that against them? I'm like, are you daft? Like, I'm sorry. I don't know what kind of schoolyard bullying you were raised by, but if I am calling someone my friend because I care about them, then no, I'm not about to go take their phobia and weaponize it against them. That is stupid. We don't do that in this house. That just seems dumb. I don't get why I would go. If it was someone I didn't care about, sure, but if it's someone that I actually call a friend, no, I'm not. That's dumb. Funny enough, I got called a bottom once for that opinion, and I'm like, I think that says more about you than me, but all right. That's not, you know, if I'm losing to somebody in something, that's not the card I'm about to play to try and turn things around. It's like, if I can't pull it out without that, then I wasn't good enough to pull it out anyways, and so be it. It's kind of like my insults. You don't see me curse a lot, and it's because if I can't insult you without resorting to curse words, then I just don't got it in me to come up with a good insult. And in my opinion, I'm not saying this is my opinion for everybody. I don't really care that other people curse at all. I'm just saying, for me personally, when you notice when I would go in on somebody, it'll still be without curse words, and that's why. It's because if I can't come up with a smart insult without using curse words as a crutch, then I'm not smart enough to win the banter. Oh god, Skydeck. I forgot. This is the bottom part of Skydeck. Oh no. Oh, that's the top part. Oh god. No. We might have to end the video. This might be it. There's a lot of underside cannons we did not destroy in the tornado, and so we're going to be in a little bit of trouble. But yeah, so there's certain things like that, like know the limits of the people you're working with. Because like, I like to not converse with the people when I make videos. I like the video to be a surprise. You don't know what video is coming next. You don't know what's going to be in the video either. So I like to think about it from a perspective of, okay, if I'm going to make this joke, is the person going to be okay with this joke? And 9 out of 10 times, usually yes. The only time someone's ever not been okay with a joke was because there maybe needed to be some clarity on it. And what I mean by not okay is just more like they're just confused why I made the joke. Like the Minecraft one. So the Minecraft one, I played as several people because I forgot that remember how I said I'm a perfectionist? So I learned in Minecraft, and the thing I use to make skins, that there's actually 2 layers. And I made the initial skins in 2021 on the outer layer. So I went back and put all of that on the inner layer so I can make the outer layer more detail. And so in the Minecraft video, I played as several people's skins. The only prominent ones that were seen, I guess, were Lucy and Mitchie's. But I redid graphic skin even. I redid skin Steam's. Steam skin even. I redid a bunch of skins, including my own actually. And that's how it worked. And then suddenly when I'm editing the video, I'm like, I want to get Mitchie in trouble, so I'm going to use the Lucy part specifically here. But technically there was like a lot of ones that I used, and that's why. So maybe there's a little confusion for that one, for example. And that kind of, oh, you're mean, and I don't like you. You're mean and I don't like you. Your father was a pop tire. Stupid spike balls. Alright. You did say danger. You did warn me. I should have known that was coming. I'm dumb. No, I'm not. I'm actually not dumb. I just was not attentive as I should have been. There's supposed to be a giant cannon that's putting the fear of God in me. Oh, there it is. Hang on. Was I supposed to go the other way? I hope not. But the rest of the stage looks like it's over there. But so it's like a clarity thing, right? If you're like, I want to make this joke, but I don't know if such and such person would be okay with this joke, maybe just run it by them. Maybe that spoils what's coming a little bit, but if you gotta ask. make sure you know what's cool with people, because a lot of us are pretty fine with a lot of jokes we make in each other's videos and streams. But if not, if you're really worried about something, just don't. That's also an option too. Just don't. If you have to worry about it, it might be bothering them, and it's someone you know, then that in itself might be the sign that it might bother them. Oh, okay, there's a bottom layer. Okay. Which means there's a top layer, and I want to be up there. Up the ladder with you, Sonic. That'd be, I guess, my unsolicited advice about how I go about crafting a video. If I'm making a joke, like the bury the light meme, I didn't think, obviously, there would be a chance that would be taken the wrong way, but there's a world where it was, and so it's like, okay, then we don't do that anymore, or stuff like that. And that, I guess that's what I'm talking about too. It's like, you know, there's situations where it's like they're supposed to be entertaining. Even if I'm roasting somebody, like the way I would roast somebody is I want to make sure the person getting roasted is also entertained. So I'm not just gonna go all in on them in like a really stupid, dumb way. I want all parties involved. Like I'm an entertainer. That's my job. So I want all parties involved to be entertained. So if that's not happening, then I'm doing something wrong. That's how I look at it. If there's a person or a group or something that is not feeling what I'm doing, and it's just, especially if it's in a roasting situation or banter and they just feel insulted and that's it, then I'm doing my job wrong and I need to evolve. I'm not going to sit here and be like, ah, man, I wish you just took jokes better. It's like, or I could just tell better jokes, since that's my job, is to tell better jokes. So there's that. And so that implies with mostly, especially my friends, because I actually like my friends, you know? But also just in general, like if I'm gonna roast, I want to make joy. So if I'm not making joy, I'm doing something wrong. That's just my philosophy on that. So I put that in these videos. So when I've talked about all these ways that I edit videos, that's something I want to bring up, because that's part of it. Part of it is like, you know, does this entertain person, people, group? Doesn't? Then I'm not doing my job. And like in most jobs, if you're not doing your job, you get fired. So I would rather do my job. Seems like a better way I could go about that. Funny enough, I wonder if there's a bit that's ended that I miss. Like for example, so I want to talk about more than just, I feel like I talk about the same two jokes over and over. So Chiaki with a gun. Technically right, Lucy's not Chiaki anymore. So the hey hey bit went away because I related that to her specifically, whereas Table is the bald Chiaki, so I relate the bald stuff to... Oh no, it's collapsing as we go? I've just been casually moseying on like it's a Sunday walk. Hello? Oh, this is collapsing. This is all collapsing. It's all bad. It's all bad. It's all bad. And go make it. I made it. What do you got? Oh, it's the giant cannon. How long is this level? I mean, it's the egg carrier. It should be kind of long, I guess. Okay, understandable. I'll bring that up, because sometimes jokes run their course. I wouldn't say that's a joke that ran its course, but I will say that's an example of maybe a joke evolving, right? Like when I talk about evolution. Okay, so then it used to be the hey hey gunshot thing. And like, yeah, if we ever did a TTT throwback episode where for some reason we just did our old avatars in it or whatever, I'd probably bring it back, so should that happen. But sometimes jokes evolve, and that's fine too. Don't be afraid when you're making videos to evolve a joke, is what I'm basically going towards too. If you think it's either, even if it's not gotten stale, if it's not broke, don't fix it. But if you think like, oh, but I could make this funnier, kind of a situation, try it. And like I said, experiment. That's part of the point of making a lot of videos. Experiment. Maybe it's like, oh hey, this would be funny if I did this at least one time. And then when it comes over here, we jump across these. Yeah. Yeah. Boop. Now I know you're gonna move, so I'm not gonna bother jumping yet. The ship's tilting. And then I jump to you. And then as you start going past, we go like this. Yeah, baby. I'm figuring stuff out. Now, why are these tilting this way? But that's tilting that way. Oh, dear. Oh, okay. Panic. Panic at the disco. But yeah, that's an idea. Be willing to evolve a joke. Be willing to, like, remake the joke, but it's still generally the same joke. That's how Password stuck around, even though, oh god, Sonic has no eyes. That's how it stuck around and evolved into even other stuff. It was great in TTT2 because there used to be a role called the Nova, and it was like, hey, you know, I can instinctually just get Lucy to kill me and then blow up like I don't know nobody, and it's great. I'm trying to think, in terms of making videos, I've basically covered everything that I kind of wanted to cover about. I talk about general, like generic general stuff, but I think I'll save that for the thumbnail video because that's a video that will happen eventually. Now, obviously, because I'll be making a thumbnail, it won't be me doing it like this with a game in the background. I'll just be walking through how I make different thumbnails. But in terms of strategy, obviously the base cliche one, have fun. Make sure you always have fun. If gravity's this messed up, can I jump over this rail and just drop down to here? Yeah, I sure can. Let's refix, yeah, there we go. I get to go down here now, right? Yeah, I sure do. A really long Let's Play episode. It's like when you see like Jack and them make like a 3-hour and 50-minute Let's Play. It's like, holy crap. But anyways, yeah, that's one thing to look at. I've covered over every series really too. I guess the thing about scripted, I didn't really conclude on that too much. Is like, don't be afraid to come forward to people and ask, hey, can we script this idea? That I got a series idea or I got a one single video idea, and I think you'd be great in it because I find you funny. I find you funny. You guys are all funny. Can we, like, maybe there's certain rules you have to abide by. Like, don't get me wrong, you can curse in videos and still be monetized, but YouTube likes it a lot when you don't. As much anyways, like if there's only a cuss word here or there versus like every minute. YouTube, because like advertisers, again, it comes back to advertisers. It's what advertisers like. Advertisers like cleaner videos. So that's why videos get pushed more when they're cleaner. It has nothing, again, it has nothing to do with YouTube actually. YouTube personally doesn't care. YouTube's like, yeah, if you wanna curse, you wanna make Naruto Linkin Park AMVs till the end of time, we actually are fine with that. That's fine by us. But advertisers care, so then YouTube has to care, because like, well, if we wanna keep the lights on, we gotta kind of appease these people. That's how that works. So it's a little unfortunate, but it's how it works. There we go, unlock the Chow Garden for next time. I would always reach out to people too as well. Like Mitchie's a fellow YouTuber, so sometimes we just collab notes on how to do certain things and how we want to do certain things. And subtitling, I hate subtitling. That's why I get out so many videos so much faster than he does. It's because he likes to subtitle, and more power to him because I think his videos are better for it. I can't be bothered, I'm sorry, I hate it so much. And going forwards, a reminder the THANKMAS is going on. The description or the link to the donation link will be in the description down below. Oh god, here comes Gamma, our other boy, because Gamma was legit. If you've played this game and you've played the story, you know Gamma's actually really awesome. I'll finish this boss fight for y'all in case you are invested in watching the gameplay itself. But there's a lot of stuff I could have talked about I'm not going to talk about because it's like, what, 2 hours plus? Let's get out of here. Let's enjoy our week. Oh, also, break this video up into multiple sections. Don't watch this all at once. I promise you, you don't want to watch this all at once. But yeah, so final thoughts, just structure videos and then commentary. So improve your commentary bit by bit. You can start by using games and going through games that you know already, so you can focus purely on your commentary instead of the gameplay, right? I know this game, so that's why I'm going through all this stuff, and it's fine. I can just talk to you guys, and it's great, because then I can work on making jokes, right? The thing about certain Let's Plays is it's not even just people's jump scare reactions, it's also their commentary. Some of them are very memeable and stuff like that. That's something I gotta work on with my solo plays. That's why solo gaming will be coming back next year. I'm probably going to do, like I said, the playthrough of GTA 5, and part of that whole playthrough, even though I've played the story, is going to be working on my commentary with the things that happen, and making stories around that to engage with the audience. Make questions, sometimes throw crazy stuff in there so the person watching has to think about it, or get a laugh, or even answers your question even though I can't hear you right now. Think of it that way. And one thing I almost forgot is just recording. I never try and record everything in one go in case the file gets corrupted. So my general rule of thumb is like once every hour, I'll tab out, hit stop recording, start recording again. So that way, if one file gets completely corrupted and I can't save it, it doesn't corrupt the entire day of files for something. This is kind of an exception because it's a bit of a podcast, but like when we play TTT, when it's been about, about 2 or 3 maps that we've played, it's usually about an hour, hour and a half, tab out, hit stop record, start recording again while we're in a loading screen, and then pick it up from there. And because it's happened before, I've lost an entire couple maps in TTT, but the whole day wasn't gone because I broke it up that way. It doesn't happen too often. Fortunately, files don't get corrupted that often that I can't save them. Sometimes they'll get corrupted where I can't load them into Vegas or Movie Maker. And so I have to like open like OBS and kind of just recapture the video again and like exit Discords, no pings and stuff come up. It's a bit of a thing. That doesn't happen too often either, but fortunately, purely corrupted files don't happen all that often. But one way to counter that, and one of the reasons I like recording, is that it's that idea of, oh, this got corrupted. Well, guess what? I recorded 4 videos total. So, only 1 video of the 3 got corrupted, and I can now instead still use the other 3. And that's why I have a preference for recording over streaming in general too. So if something happens like that, it's fine. It's like the one time in VR chat we went to Public Worlds. It was I called it a horror video because Public Worlds in VR chat are horrendous. I don't understand the appeal. I'm gonna be honest. We had that conversation just the other night. I don't understand the appeal. I only get on VR chat to hang out with people I know, and usually in friends like instance. I don't mind Friends Plus Worlds either because I don't mind meeting new people, but I don't. Public Worlds are for the wolves. They're not good. We all know they're not good, and then people will judge all of VR chat off of Public Worlds too. It's insane. There we go. That's amazing. It is a pretty impressive feat of engineering. But yeah, it's one of the reasons I like that too. Another reason I like it too is that if something happens, I'm not gonna name names, but let's just pretend that someone maybe accidentally unmuted, right? It was accidental, and so you didn't even hear their voice. Maybe you just heard them breathing, right? If that ends up in a recording, I can just always not have that in the video. I'm gonna spoil that. It's happened before with several people where their mic was on or picked up something or whatever. And so you could hear them technically, and I'm like, that's not going in the video. But if I was streaming, that would be in the stream, and I'd probably honestly delete the VOD, because if someone's, for example, they're not talking for whatever reason, I'm not gonna try and get them in a video and be like, I got your voice. It's like, no, that's lame. Suki and Kimple are examples of this, where I heard their voices before they actually started using their voices regularly, but they didn't end up in a video until both of them had already begun streaming consistently while using their actual voices. So then it was like, it's their choice to make, and that's the same choice that I enable any of my friends that don't speak for. And it's sad because some of them don't speak because they just hate their voice or they hate their accent. I'm just like, you don't got a bad voice though. That's crazy. I'm one to talk because when I listen to myself long enough, I also hate my own voice after a while. So, I'm a hypocrite, but that's a thing where I'm just like, nah. But there's times people have done that. Sometimes it's a bit more on purpose. Someone will unmute specifically to bonk someone and then mute again, and that was it. But that's my point. It's like, that's not going in a video though. I'm not gonna put that. First of all, if they did that like that, then it was just a one thing anyways. But secondly, that's not. I guess I'm also kind of putting this point in there now because I'm talking to the people that are in fact mute that I know. That if that ever happens, and you're like, oh crap, he might be recording and I just made a noise. That's not gonna be in the video, especially if I catch that. Now, I don't always catch everything. That's how some things have ended up in videos. Oh, it's big. That's how some things have ended up in videos when it comes to other things. It's because I just didn't catch it in the edit. But I'm always looking out for something like that happening, and if it happens, I'm like, that's not going in the video. So you don't have to worry about if you ever make a noise or say a word or speak, but you haven't really been comfortable speaking in front of, because some people are comfortable speaking in small groups but not large yet. That will always be deleted out of my videos, and then I delete the recording when I'm done editing the video, so I don't even have it. So I couldn't pull up these examples I'm talking about. I mean, they have happened. I don't got the proof that they've happened, but they have happened, so I can't prove that it happens and then I'm not gonna do anything with it, and I feel bad because it's like, well, now I don't got proof that I'm not gonna do that to you, but I guess you just have to take my word, which maybe you will take my word, which is nice, but like, yeah, that's not something I'm down to do. Basically, it's like, if y'all ain't doing it, then I'm not gonna do it to you until either you're comfortable or you never do it, which is fine. That's it, in my opinion, it's your choice to make, and so I'm not the one. Bro, it's not that funny. It's not that funny. It's not that funny. Oh no, he has to walk. He has to suck him up. That's right. Like that. Bon appetit, buddy. But yeah, I thought I'd mention that too, because it's like, well, what? That's one of the reasons I like recording. When something, I'm using that as a specific example, but just in general, when something happens and it's like, oh, like when we went to the public worlds and someone in a cop avatar came in and started being really extremely racist and homophobic. Guess what? Not in the video. Because they do that to try and get a rise out of you, and also if you're streaming, get you in trouble. But if you're recording, it can't get you in trouble because I just don't put it in the video. Idiot. What are you doing? Oh, Scorpion. He's doing the Scorpion. Oh, he really is doing a Scorpion. Wait, I was joking. You missed. You had one job and you somehow still missed. How does that happen? Because you're an idiot. You got your tail back, but it means nothing. Chaos 6 is nothing. Now, Chaos 7 might be a problem. But you're a nobody. You're always gonna be a nobody. It's a Sonic game. This is what I do, is I beat Sonic games. Come on now. But yeah, I thought I would just bring that up though, because if any of you, part of why I bring it up too is if any of you have ever been in a call and you've done one of the things that I mentioned, yes, if you think I'm talking about you, I'm talking about you, by the way. Yeah, I'm just gonna be difficult now. Yeah, that's not like, oh, it's in a recording somewhere, it's gonna be in a future video. No, it's gone. There's times where it's like, nah. Especially for one, because a lot of these recordings take up gigabytes anyways, but for two, if something like that happens, even if it's a conversation from people that do speak, like let's say, you know, Steam or Graphic or somebody's having a very serious conversation, it's not in the video.
Come back here.
If it's a very serious conversation in character like we're doing a bit, sure. If it's a serious conversation, it's gone. It's not, and like I said, even I don't keep it. There's certain videos I keep because they're like a funny moment. Like I think I still have, I have all the videos I used to make the VR chat intro because I had to save the file for that. So I have those. I have like the very first TTT videos and stuff like that. But like there's certain things that I'm getting rid of. A, because I need the space, but B, so in case you're ever wondering, that's how I do that. And that's how maybe you can do that too. It's like, oh, this seems like a thing that they don't want maybe to be talked about. Cut out the video. That's the thing about making a video, just cut out the video. I used to be that person where I had to like beat a game, beat like a level in the first try, or else it seemed fake and stuff. It's like, no. When you die, you can just cut to the part, or no, you can just cut back to when you're restarting and then cut to when you beat the level for the viewing experience. Because watch time is a thing. I said the video was going to end. Watch time works like this. I'll put it like this. 15, if your video is being watched more than 15% of the video, YouTube will push it out. So if you make a 10-minute video and people are watching more than about a minute 30 of it, it'll get pushed out for a bit at least. It'll eventually fall off eventually anyways if it's not being watched too much longer than that. But you want to hit for like 15% on the watch time. So that's why making shorter videos can be nice too. Like Overwatch videos, I tend to make like 3 minutes because like if someone even watches only 30 seconds, well, you've watched, you know, about the 15% of that. And so that's why the Overwatch videos have done very well. Some of those do like hundreds of views because between sensationalized title and thumbnail, and then they're also like maybe only 3 minutes long and people are watching on average a minute. Guess what? Well, you're watching like 33%, which is way over the 15% of the video. And that's kind of how that works too, by the way, in case you've ever been curious about that. Things like watch time and stuff like that. Like my average watch time on all my videos, like across my whole channel, my average watch time is about a minute. So people usually watch about 30 seconds to a minute 30 of my videos. Any video, really. Funny enough, it doesn't actually change ever. Which makes me think ads are a bit of a problem, which is why I'm not critical of ad blocks. There could be like it could be one of the ad breaks is it's always putting an ad break like a minute in my video. That's like intrusive. This video might be loaded with ads, for example. I don't know. YouTube is coming up with a change soon where we get to control where the ad breaks are going and going to be. So that's going to be nice. But because it hasn't happened yet, I don't know about this video. I'm sorry, y'all. If y'all are really like turning the ad block off because you're supporting me, I appreciate it. I'm also going to be like, how the way ads work though is, in case you're curious, when it comes to skippable ads, as long as the first 5 seconds played, then it's fine. So you don't have to sit through the entire 30 seconds of the ad to support a creator. And that goes for anybody, not just me being a statement. It's like, that's how that works. It's like, oh, you only, once it says skip ad, you can skip the ad. The ad's been played. As far as YouTube's concerned, it's been registered. It's good. So you don't have to be like, I don't want to watch these ads, but I want to support this person. No, you can hit skip. You can hit skip after those 5 seconds. It counts. I'm just apologizing in advance because this is a long video. YouTube likes to load these long videos up with some ads out the yin yang. but that's how that works. That's how watch time works, and that's why you want to try and keep viewers engaged for at least that first 20 seconds of a video. It's why I started making intros, for example. It's why I will sometimes do bits at the beginning of a video, like the Most Abandoned Girl in the World Part 2. The first minute was a whole bit, because that keeps people watching now for that first whole minute. That's a strat you can employ. Maybe I'll make a part 2, because this video is actually too long. I don't like how long this video is actually at this point, but I'll maybe make a part 2 with more intermediate thoughts and opinions on making videos and going about stuff like this. Ow. Ow. Depression. Pain. Ring. There we go. I'll be there in just a second. I'm not doing so hot suddenly, ironically. But yes, I am going to say that is one thing when you are thinking about, if you are thinking about making your own videos. I don't think Graphic would mind me talking about. He was thinking of making like I think it was an ASMR. It classifies as an ASMR video, and those can do really well because people are going to probably want to watch a lot of that, way more than just 15% of a video that's like that. So that's a great option to work with, experiment on, etc. If you're like, I don't know how this is gonna go, or when you're in the edit. So like, okay, I gotta talk about ads again. I'm sorry, but the way it works is, it used to be a video had to be 10 minutes long to put the maximum type of ads on a video. So what you would see is people make videos back in the 2016 up to like 2020. They would make a video 10 minutes and 1 second. That was why those videos exist, where people would try and shoot for that. So there's 3 types of ads you could put on a video. There's adorable. There's the banner ads, the side ads, and then the skippable ads. And that's why when you do that, that's how that works. Yeah, let's just skip that. There we go. They reduced it in 2021 to 8 minutes. So now people shoot for that 8 minute 1 second. And basically what that means is obviously the maximum amount of ads on a video, the maximum amount of money you stand to make through ad rates. That's how that works. So what you'll still see though is, depending on the type of video, especially if it's animation or something, people still might make short videos, because overall that's still going to have a higher watch time, and a higher watch time means you get pushed out more. So even though you can't have the maximum type of ads on a video, overall you still get to get more eyes on your content, which can be equally as useful. There's a switch that I missed, so that's why you might see people do that. Yeah, here it is. All right, there we go. We gotta wait for the snake to come back. So fun fact, if you've played Sonic Adventure 2 and you've played Canon's Core during the last story, the architect of that is based off of this level in Sonic Adventure 1. It's carryover. That's why it's built quite the same actually, and it's kind of cool. When I got into Sonic, I got into it via Sonic Advance and Sonic Adventure 2 first, and went back and played Sonic Adventure. So I didn't catch that until I went back and played Sonic Adventure. I was like, oh, this is just like Canon's Core. It's based, the same. That's on purpose too, because the core of the arc is built to house the Master Emerald, if need be, for emergency purposes. And this place is Knuckles' ancestry that we're basically running through right now, so it makes total sense. But yes, that's how that that's how that works. In case you've ever been curious about stuff like that, I can make an ad-specific video too, but I don't want to, only because these shoot flaming arrows out of them. All right. I don't want to hark on that too, because I don't want to make people feel bad for ad block. I'm supposed to as a YouTuber, because that is money that we don't make when people use that. But at the same time, it's like, YouTube, we've been on YouTube forever about making better ways to get paid, both creators and also themselves. Like we're into the YouTube. Maybe there's other ways that you should be making money too. Like ad revenue is how the internet runs. The internet runs on ads. It's why when Twitter changed, ads started becoming a thing. It's why Twitch does it. It's why everybody does ads. Ads is what runs everything. I hate to say it that way, because I feel like some people don't quite understand that, and it's unfortunate, because I don't necessarily like that it's true, but it's true. It's kind of like sponsorships. I could go do a sponsorship that will pay me a guaranteed $5,000, and then the rest of my videos can do however good or bad they want. I still got that guaranteed $5,000, say, to pay rent. That's why people will do sponsorships. Unfortunately, people are a lot more... This part specifically is in Canon's Core, by the way, in Sonic Adventure 2. Except the water's like orange instead of blue. But anyways, that's why people do that, by the way. It's like, if I quote-unquote sell out, Freaking Capstan. I'm calling Capstan out for a brief second because, like, I'm minding my business and I get a DM from her, so it pops up on Discord, and I only catch the first part of the sentence that she's typing, and I swear to God, I thought something was actually wrong. I thought something was, like, actually a problem the way she worded that. I'm like, well played, Capstan. All right, well played, all right. And it happened to do with the fact that I made the THANKMAS video, and the THANKMAS video that I was kind of now I was perfectly fine, like, clickbaiting. She wasn't actually bothered by it, by the way. She says she's heartbroken. She's never been heartbroken a day in her life. Don't worry. Or maybe she has, but it's not my fault. I'm just saying. But I just brought that up briefly because, like, man, I thought something was actually wrong. And I'm like, I don't think I've done anything to her in a minute. What the heck happened? But yeah, that's why you might see people quote unquote sell out or whatever, is because that might be what pays the bills if ad rates don't work, right? If everything's getting demonetized and stuff, that's how you can still partner with people to still get paid. It's fantastic, really. But I understand, again, the pain of ads. It's irrelevant ads, and then you don't want relevant ads because you don't want people having your info. I have my location off on a lot of things, for example. That's just how that works. You don't need to know where I am in the world. A lot of my friends don't even know. They think they know where I am, but they know where I want them to think I am in the world. That's how that works. I'm talking about my friends at this point. You'd think they would get to know. They know the general area, perhaps. Like the time zone. But no, they if they tried to pull up, they'd be in trouble. They'd be in trouble. I would not be there. But like, it happens, so you know, there's that. Let me see. Any concluding thoughts? I mean, so I talked a lot about what, like, people that are mute can do, because I want to reinforce people that are mute that think they can't be funny. It's like, that's not true. But even the people that do speak that maybe don't think that they're the funniest, I think. So some of it is, I say evolve jokes, and some of it might just be don't force a joke, right? Like, I think some of the funniest jokes are dad jokes. Some of the stupid dad jokes that Graphic makes do crack me up, because that brand of humor sometimes can be hilarious, and it kind of depends when you're bouncing off of people and you're in a group. So working with a group can be advantageous too. This person makes this kind of jokes. This person makes this kind of jokes. This person makes this kind of jokes. This person's joke falls flat. This person picks it up. This person finishes it, and now the whole moment's funny, and it's actually thanks to their joke falling flat. It's the idea with improv of, like, saying yes. Like, when a situation comes up, just say yes and just see where it goes, unless it's something you're absolutely, of course, uncomfortable with and don't want to do or endorse. When something happens, maybe sometimes just lean into. The funniest things that have sometimes happened from people that do talk and even mutes that both have done is when a joke happens and we think we know their response, what it's supposed to be, because it's the response that they've always done, and it's a day where they felt different, so they leaned into the joke, and it was like the funniest thing because it just catches us all off guard. That's why Digi still gets a crack out of Lucy doing the laundry day joke, because it was talking about the couch and all the, you know, getting done on the couch, and instead of just like shutting the joke down that specific day, she brought up that laundry because it was about thigh highs, and it was funny, and that's my point. It's like, we would have expected this response, or like a gun getting shot, something, and instead they went a totally different way that day, and it was funny. Sometimes that works too when it comes to reinventing a joke, is that you don't have to always reinvent it and then that's your new stance. You can go back to your usual stance, but every now and then maybe you lean into it, and that just what throws everybody off and goes, okay, and that's what makes it funny. It's like when a wholesome person leans into something that's not wholesome and it throws us off guard. And we're like, hold on, you weren't supposed to say yes. You were supposed to say no. Put your pants back on. Right now. We made the joke because you were not supposed to do that. It's kind of like that. It's kind of like why sometimes I won't lean into the cheeks jokes, and then other times I'll like full send it. Because sometimes it's funny to do that. Sometimes that's improv. You just improv the situation as the day specifically goes. Some days we're like, ew, demons. Other days we post a watermelon gif because someone posted butt cheeks. Like that's how that works. And be willing, when I'm talking about this, be willing to know your own boundaries, and then know when you want to do that switch. And so like knowing when you want to lean into a joke, and knowing like, hey, today I don't want to lean into the joke. That's probably one of the biggest strengths of a lot of the groups that I do stuff with, is when they're really not feeling it a certain day, even if there's something they would usually feel, they will speak up and be like, I ain't feeling it today. And then we'll be like, yeah, all right, we got you. We're not going to bug you with that then today. Today's like not the day to do that. Gotcha. We're with you. We're homies. We got you. It's all good. That was not there before. That's a whole entire city. He just built a whole entire city in the jungle. Great. My appendix hurts for some reason. My appendix just ruptured. Ow. All right. All right, let's see what we got here. We got... I forget. Is that... Because I'm pretty sure this is from Sonic 2. Yeah, because he has the wheels on the back of his legs. But in Sonic 2, I thought he was more silver than kind of gunmetal gray. So that's still Silver Sonic, though. I guess some people call it Cyber Sonic for that reason. But when this game came out in 1999 and Sonic 2 had just came out in like 1992, it was only like a 7-year difference. It was a nice throwback, though. But then, the boy, Metal Sonic from Sonic CD, which at the time was only a few years ago. Which you can play as Metal Sonic in this game if you get all 140 emblems. Maybe I'll do that one day. But that's cool. That's cool to see them both in here. But yeah, so I would say that, right? Like if you ask any of them that have done that before, like when Lucy did that, like sometimes she'll admit, sometimes, it might be rare, but she'll lean into a joke because it's funny. And that's kind of like the bottom line. Is it funny? Or is it funny and it's also not really harming anybody? Because we're really not down for harming people in the squad, at least. So it's usually a lot better when everybody gets to kind of enjoy something. Unlike this puzzle, I've played this game for how many years and I still never actually get how to do this proper. All right, that's all lit up. Now it's not lit up anymore. There it is. I always get it eventually. But yeah, think of it from perspectives like that. And basically what I'm establishing is general rules. When you have those general rules, it makes making videos easier because then you can go, oh, okay. Huh. Really? Die. That's twice. How do we just blow past that? Sonic, you kind of fast. Kind of like it's in your name. Yeah, but that's. I said I was going to include this video a while ago. This video is going to be stupidly long and probably not too much cut out. Truth be told. But yeah, just think about it from that perspective. Think about it from the perspective of I say improv and I say Yes Man, like the movie Yes Man. It was a good movie. I like that movie. I'm not saying you always got to be willing to say yes to certain things, but that could be a way one of you, whether you speak or not, can like kind of flip the tables on people and catch them by surprise. That's how comedy works sometimes, is you catching people by surprise. That is an option, right? It's like, oh, I did not expect that from you. That's hilarious. But also with the boundary of, yeah, this is not going to be a new thing always, though. Like their thing, when the couch gets brought up, for example, I don't think they ever actually have brought up laundry day or thigh highs again. Just to, Lucy won't care if I use her as an example. That's part of why I use her as an example so often. I don't, and that's my point. It's like, case in point, I can do that because I know she won't mind. Most people don't too, for that matter, I think, but you know, it happens sometimes, right? Like Toy Chica with Steam, for example. That's him leaning into that. Quite a bit. We were talking about, I forget the specifics of why, but he'll lean into that for a couple of reasons. Oh god, the music got scary. Oh, I dead. Just keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. Keep those ideas in mind about like how you want to go about something, how you want to edit something, how you want to do something. And usually it will work itself out as you then practice making videos. You'll find your craft. You'll sculpture exactly how you want to go about doing certain things, and it gets easier then. That's how that works, and it's kind of nice, really. Why do I want to go up here? Why do I want to go? Oh. Thank you. Give me that back. I want that back. Yeah, actually, I wanted that life back. Appreciate it. I did not mean to play through like 90% of Sonic's story. But here we are, playing through 90% of Sonic's story. Yeah, this really is going to be the video like for the week. Oh, those are blades. Very slow-moving blades, but blades nonetheless. People forget Sonic is a platforming game. He runs through stuff, but he platforms too. So thank you so much for watching this video. I don't know what video will be next. We're just gonna have to wait and see. So till this time, take care and enjoy pizza responsibly. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.